Otro amor que te comprenda y que te haga muy feliz. Otro amor que te comprenda y que te haga muy feliz. Escogió mi corazón este amor equivocado. Escogió mi corazón este amor equivocado.
Oh, por favor, por favor. I hope that all of you are as in love as we are. Mucho amor. Mi corazón increíble.
Vibración. Una expansión.
Gracias, gracias. Por favor, explicar the songs.
Los
¿Por qué esta? Ya.
Bueno.
En español también.
Sí, en español. Bueno, primero que nada, muy buenos días con todos.
Buenos días.
Y qué lindo que estemos vistos en otros países.
Sí.
Bueno, las canciones que se han escogido son precisamente por esa visión de compartir de la comunidad.
Okay.
Porque ellos, por si se notó, ellos comparten una melodía en la zampoña.
Sí.
Ellos van intercambiando.
Son dos en uno.
Sí.
Ok.
Sí, ellos se dividen las piezas de este instrumento.
Ajá.
Se comparten. Este
Sí,
instrumento.
sí. So you see what they're saying? They're saying that this is the way that, un momento, this is the way that they play this, and you see how he's putting the parts together. So it's not just one, that they were playing
octaves.
2 octaves at the same time, multiple octaves, por favor.
Sí, este es un solo instrumento,
So this is one instrument,
pero ellos
but it's played between the two,
sí,
so
entonces,
that the two are the one.
Le llaman trenzado.
Exactamente, sí.
Le llaman
All
trenzado
about connection.
y es justamente por este sentido del tejido, de la música y de la armonía que
Sí.
las melodías se van conectando de esa manera, ¿no?
Exactamente.
Pero en la comunidad aquí, nosotros lo hacemos con este sentido de la comuna, de compartir, de que
Exactamente.
todos hacemos una fuerza, una sinergia
Sí.
con la música.
See, the energy, and I know you feel it because I feel it. The force and the energy of this music, it is the way that they play it, how they come together as the one community, how they bring this music forward, and that everyone comes together and it creates the energy of the ceremony. It creates the energy of harmony, the energy of love. Más?
¿Uno más?
Uno más.
¿Una más?
Uno más.
Por favor.
I think we need one more, don't you? Yeah, thank you.
Ok,
Por
todo
favor.
eso
La
ya.
música.
All right, una más, por favor.
Vaya.
Venga, no está bien. ¿Ah? No. ¿Y tú?
¿Está bien, cámara? All right. pregunta, por favor. ¿Qué semilla? ¿Cuál es esta? Sí.
Y pistachios. So we're so delighted to be able to share and curiously exploring this musical instrument, which is made from shells and seeds.
Did you all hear that? Because this is really fascinating. This beautiful man was playing. I don't know if you were
inside the flowers.
All right, perdóname. This beautiful instrument. I don't know if you saw the way he was playing this, but there was such presence and such energy, and it was really carrying a harmony behind this. And he said these are all the local seeds. These come from the Oriente, which is out near the Amazon. Y esta, well, the Oriente, and these are actually fingernails of an animal. And this is hecho a mano, see? Yeah. So this is this beautiful, beautiful. Look at this gorgeousness that it's on. So gracias, bien, increíble energía. Cuando yo escucho, when I heard it, it's like es una cantar de. Gracias, muchísimas gracias por todo. Gracias, por favor. So we want to thank our beautiful musicians y muchos momentos.
Muchas personas there con
Muchas, todo el mundo, muchas
Eso.
personas, like, wow,
Sin miedo al éxito.
mucho.
Sin miedo al éxito.
Yeah. Yeah,
Gracias.
No, muy
Gracias.
amable.
Por llevarnos lejos. Gracias.
Gracias, muy amable.
Estoy feliz.
Sí,
Gracias.
gracias. Oh, yeah, por favor. I'm getting the flowers, guys, because I have to have them, you know.
So, as we're transitioning from the opening energetic upliftment, all of our group has been up at ceremony.
Yes!
And the ceremony is just up the hill
Literally here. We're going to try and turn the camera for you at some point.
And that ceremony is called Panchamanka. And that is the consecration of the food of the earth to be cooked in the earth and offered with love. One part of the food stays in the earth, and the other part is brought out for all of us to enjoy.
Yeah, and that is what today is about. We are at the moment of the awakening. This is our awakening moment. And as Sri Lanka is handing me chairs, in just a moment, we are going to be blessed. We literally had to pull Alexander from the ceremony, from the Panchamanka ceremony, to be able to bring him on stage with us right now. And so in this moment, let us bring our hands to our heart. Yeah. I don't know about you, but that music, when I was listening to the music, and especially, I don't know, for those of you that might have tuned in at the end there, my heart, do you feel your heart? It's this combination of the physical heart almost fluttering and this cosmic heart standing right next to it saying, you know, it's about damn time. Right? It's the two coming together. It's like this beautiful, to me, it feels like this consecration moment of this awakening energy that we have all been working with all weekend. And to know that this morning here at Tosa Blue Mountain, it was Alexander who specifically said, let's put it in the same place. That there was so much interference heaped on us when so much light opened the first time. That is the center of the Four Directions dome. That is the vision. That is where the dome goes. And so what we know, and we are inviting you to birth with us right now, is that this equinox is the amplifier. And it also, when we birth that beautiful bounty at lunchtime today, which we're all going to get to eat and we will record, we're eating the new. We're eating the birth, meaning the birth of our dream is coming nourishingly into all that we are. It's not just about one level of expansion. It's the complete acceptance of multidimensional experience. It's the moment where we all come together and say, okay, if we actually allow ourselves to know our truth, if we actually do that, without doubting ourselves every step of the way, without second guessing ourselves every step of the way, without letting our ego tell us that that's a good thing to do. That's how we stay lateral. We stay lateral in our illusions. You know, I know many people with 1 year's experience 20 times, but I know very few people with 20 years experience. And just really breathe in the power of the brain to limit you. It's part of its job. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy of the brain because the brain only exists here. So it's going to do everything in its power to stop you. It has to. That's the gift of it. The gift of it is to know that. Because when we know that, we're free of the illusion that tries to keep us trapped in that. When we know that, which I know you all do, we awaken. Right? What does the Violet Ray Shiva always offer? The blessing of the Violet Ray Shiva. We fall asleep so that we may heal. That's the whole reason we fall asleep. Because so that we can heal. And when we are healed, we awaken. You cannot teach what you have not yourself experienced. You cannot heal if you yourself are not whole. You can call to you lots of other unhealed beings, and we can live in very ascended states of illusionary grandeur, but it's the real work that's done every day. Wasn't it the Buddha? Chop wood, carry water before enlightenment. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Only you're now carrying about 30 buckets and a lot. Yeah. It's the only difference. It's the only difference. And not stopping, regardless of what's thrown in front of you. And I do want to take this moment right now and thank all of you. And Shri, I think we should get an opposite camera while I'm talking. I want you guys to see the beauty I'm staring at. In this moment right now, I want to thank all of you who came here live, all of the illusionary people, philosophies that would tell you that you're going to get killed if you come to Ecuador, that you're going to have all the other things. You would not believe why people can't. I mean, crazy stuff. These people right here, are they on camera?
Yeah.
Do you see who's out there? Hi. Hi. See, those people right there, that's the reason we're here. This is their land. This is, they have held this land for thousands of years. The Cañari, these beautiful people, these amazing people that have carried the light, that have carried the love, that have said when we come to the moment of our destruction, King Duma, when Duma came out, first having quashed the Inca, so much so that they went back to Peru, and then they come back with 150,000 warriors. And King Duma walks out carrying a mantle of light, of love, of illumination, knowing that the annihilation of his people stood in his hands. And rather than go with ego, King Duma went and he brought love, he brought light, and he brought negotiation. And through his wisdom, the Cañari are still here carrying that gift. In their heart is light and love and a connection that says the ego is the true killer, is it not? And so in that moment, that's how all of this was birthed, through that agreement to negotiate through the light and illumination of true wisdom. The true kings, the true queens are benevolent. They are leaders that offer through example. They are leaders that will be the first one to pick up the sword or the shovel. That is what the world is looking for. And these people do both. And we are honored to live here with them. We have lived with the Mayan. We lived with the Mayan for 7 years. We went down into Uruguay, where literally the indigenous were annihilated, not even one left. And we knew when we got there, our reason was to bring indigenous cosmic energy in. And that anchored fast, 2 years. And as fast as that anchored, that huge moment in the sky that night said Ecuador. And all of that is here today. The awakening moment is now. And so breathe in that you are here, and you are ready, and you are open, and of course you are guided because you are here now. And so we are guided, are we not?
So, por favor, Alexander.
So we would like to welcome Alexander. Please come. Thank you. And is the camera back up?
Yeah, no, we're
Okay.
good.
Okay, wonderful. Yes, but we need a translator. I wanted 4 chairs.
Yeah, por favor.
So, por favor. Sí, por favor. One momento. He wants to sing a song.
Okay.
Por favor.
Sí, por favor.
We have a surprise, so we're going to have a song. No, here. Por favor. Por favor.
Okay, thank you.
No, mi stage. Mi casa es su casa. Por favor.
Centro Los Floreros.
How beautiful.
Nice. Por favor.
And Henry too. here.
Una
Una
masía.
masía, ¿está
Yep.
bien? Or-
Perdón.
Here, por favor. You are in for a treat. Okay. Let's see here.
Un poquito más cerca.
I can, no, it's not.
I'll get it. I'll get it.
Look at it. Bien. Por favor.
Bueno, primeramente, buenos días a
First,
Irving, my family de Norteamérica. Thank you very much. Yupaychani mashikuna, may kushilla sentini, kay punja kankunao kashkamanta. Sinayata, una vez más, muchísimas gracias. Siento un alegre, contento, porque casi 3 días que he compartido las mejores experiencias de mi vida con ustedes. Gracias. Voy a cantar una canción que se llama Cóndor.
Ah, excelente.
Está en idioma quichua.
Por favor.
Imatashi lalainisha, imatashi wakainisha, Cóndor taya lalainisha, Cóndor taya wakainisha. Huirang machay Cóndor, huirang machay Cóndor, tika oko Cóndor, huirang machay Cóndor, yora konga Cóndor, acha bosi Cóndor, lai 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 lai. Tika oko Cóndor, tika oko Cóndor, huirang machay Cóndor, huirang machay Cóndor, moro baki rekospa, moro kongi Cóndor, moro baki rekospa, moro kongi Cóndor. Cascallito sueño chiqui, cascallito sueño chiqui, pobrecilla Joval Baquer, pobrecilla Joval Baquer, con ancalla de vitacón, con ancalla de vitacón. Tita ojo Cóndor, ojo, acha boche Cóndor, ojo, piquito que un llora, plomita con nueva con, yo catami a poco, yo catami a chavochi. Moro baki rekos paka, moyo kongi Cóndor, moro baki rekos paka, bawa kongi Cóndor, pobrecito Joval Baquer, pobrecito Joval Baquer, con ancalla de vito, con ancalla de vito, moro baki me kongi, moro baki me kongi, oyon oyon me kongi, oyon oyon me kongi, pobrecito Joval Baquer, pobrecito Joval Baquer, con ancalla de vito, con ancalla de vito. Hero acha boche Cóndor, hero acha boche Cóndor, yora konga Cóndor, yora konga Cóndor, ojo konga moyo, sacha konga tawa kongi, somai naga Cóndor, acha boche Cóndor. Disul pagi mamita, disul pagi tatito, mayam agradezca, mayam agradezca, capa suma cariño, capa suma voluntad, cosilito tapac, pagar ganas de poni, cosilito tapac, pagar ganas de poni, disul pagi tatito, disul pagi mamita, capa suma wasipi, capa suma potropi, kori sari tsaki, kori sari tsaki, kori shamo wata kanapa, shamo wata kanatipo, kushiriko shirako, kushiriko parakoni, asita karorako, mutirito rorakoni, disul pagi tatito, disul pagi mamita, rosa sisa mamita, gavi sisa tatito, mayam agradezca, mayam agradezca, capa soma wasipo, capa soma wasipo, kori pingo satiko, kori pingo satiko, shamo wata kanapa, tukos para oyarito, pocos para oyarito, disul pari mamita, vaya sobre de ahora voy a dar unos tocaditas. Este es un huesito de pingulito de cóndor. Gracias, gracias, thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you very much, my family.
Entonces, ¿listo para cantar?
Sí. I just 1 minute. I just want to say thank you. Muchísimas gracias.
This is what can
When they were playing the Condor song, I don't know if any of you felt it, but it felt very trance-inducing to me. I was very quickly able to be the condor soaring, and was noticing that my heart, again, there seems to be this dual heart pumping today, very much about the body anchoring with the cosmic. And so I invite you to really breathe that in, just being in the presence of these beautiful beings. And I'm sure we'll see more from them later as well. And we're going to continue our journey and offer an interview to Alexander. Muchísimas gracias.
this is what can
Yeah, gracias. Por favor. Solo a ti. Gracias.
yeah, thanks.
Alexander, esperar para conversar.
Sí.
Bye.
Maria,
Bye-bye,
can I ask you
gracias.
to make sure we have accurate translation? Or Lorena's here, whoever would like to. Well, they know they've been spending the
Oh,
weekend
okay.
together,
Por favor,
maybe.
Maria.
So I just happen to be staring at Maria.
Sorry.
Are you okay with that?
Sure.
Okay,
We wanna
please. Because it's important that I don't mess it up. So I'm going to ask you to sit right here. Gracias.
Yep.
Okay. Henry, mi amor. Oh, I'm so sorry. My dog is so protective. Siempre a mí. I am so sorry. Henry, it's okay. He's very nervous. He doesn't understand why everyone's here.
There's a new dog outside.
Oh, that's part of the
Little
problem.
puppy.
That was not a good idea.
It's working out.
Okay, all right. So that's part of
So-
what's going on. Thank you for sharing.
Before we begin, let's take a moment.
Yeah.
We invite you to bring a hand to your heart and take a breath in. Respirar profundo. Dos más veces, twice more. Abrir su corazón. All is well.
All is so well. Thank you, Shri. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here. And in this moment, I have also, along with our beautiful Alexander Padilla, who has just been selflessly, tirelessly holding ceremony now for virtually 48 hours, going into day 3 in a row. Thank you. Gracias. Muchísimas gracias por todo. Thank you for everything that you're doing. And also I'd like to thank Maria, who at the very last minute I said, Maria, please help us. And so Maria is here on vacation. She is here. This is her first time to Tosa Blue Mountain, and she has been participating all weekend, and her fluency in Spanish is so much better than ours, and we want to make sure that everything that Alexander says is 100% accurately translated. So thank you. We are so grateful. Oh, it'll be perfect. And so, beloved ones, there has been so much happening this weekend, and a lot of what has been happening has really been around, and the word I want to use is love. It's really been about love. And so, mi primero pregunta, for many people have questions, so I'll let you.
So, le va a preguntar, la gente quiere saber cosas.
So the first question that a lot of people are asking is, for the Cañari, how does love create the world and help hold it together?
Para el Canari, el amor como junta el mundo para ustedes.
Bueno, saludando a todos los hermanos, la familia. Estamos acá, Shri, Ankira, y saludando a la familia que nos está viendo a través de estos canales digitales.
He's saying hello to everyone and thanking everyone.
And to all of you worldwide, and all the channels, all of you that are listening.
El amor
The love
es una forma para
is
nosotros,
a form for us.
la interconexión
The interconnection
con lo que está finito
with what is infinite
e infinito.
and
No existe cosas buenas ni malas para nosotros.
there is no existence of good or bad.
Todo tiene su propia perfección.
Everything is perfect, imperfectly perfect.
El amor es ese vínculo que nosotros primero tenemos con nosotros.
Love is something, it's an internal thing that we have with ourselves.
Cuando alineamos dos serpientes
When we bring together two serpents
que caminan por nuestra columna vertebral,
that comes within our, like the Kundalini,
hasta que llegan a solarizarse
and then it comes out of our crown.
en el idioma quichua quiere decir Punja Inti Kausai.
Punja Indicosa.
Punja, que es el amanecer de la luz.
It is the awakening of the light.
And I want to say that this is what we call the cosmic prime meridians. It's the exact same energy.
Entonces, ese amor nos conduce luego a formar una familia.
So that love is conduced into a family.
Esas dos serpientes
Those two serpents
se vuelve esposo y esposa.
become the wife and the husband.
Ajá. Luego, entramos en el tercer círculo,
And then we come into the third circle,
en donde nos volvemos guías espirituales, guías comunitarios de nuestros pueblos, de nuestra gente.
So we bring forward the spiritual guides, and through those guides we expand our family, our spiritual family, our communities. All becomes one.
Pero la comunidad nos elige por lo que ven, por nuestro camino, por nuestro trabajo, por nuestra forma. Entonces, estamos en el tercer círculo.
So with all of that, it forms the family, and that is the third circle.
Y luego vamos al cuarto.
And then we go to the fourth.
En el cuarto círculo
In the fourth circle,
nos empezamos a alinear con las deidades.
so
It
it's
is
an alternate,
nonlinear.
non-linear.
Right, and then in that next circle, he's describing multidimensional existence.
Yes.
This is exactly what we're talking about, and they're describing it the same way.
En el cual nos volvemos canales
And this is when the channels open as well.
de una montaña,
The mountain is a
de
channel,
lagunas,
the rivers, the lakes,
de seres de luz que están en otra dimensión.
the opening of the light in the other dimensions
Entonces, nuestro cuerpo
in our body.
es un canal a través del cual ellos vienen y hacen su trabajo.
Go ahead.
Yeah, they channel, they are channeled through us, and they come out through us.
That all of those beings
Entonces-
are through our love channel.
Esa energía llamada amor
That energy of love
nace de adentro hacia afuera.
comes from within, and then is expressed outwardly.
En el cual hablamos con corazón sincero
So we speak with sincere hearts,
para que la gente nos escuche con corazón sincero.
so that the people who hear us also with sincere hearts.
El amor entonces es ese equilibrio entre la cabeza, las emociones y el corazón.
So we create equilibrium between the heart and the mind.
Entonces, el amor es algo que no lo podríamos tratado de explicar de esa forma porque es una energía que no tiene lenguaje.
Yes. It's not always easy to express what love is, because it's more of an energy. It has its own language.
So talk to me about frequency, vibration. What about, how does vibration, how is everything affected by that love frequency?
Vibración, la frecuencia de
Todo afectado, frecuencia.
la energía de todo el.
Sí, que todo está vibrando, está
Everything is vibrating.
interconectado desde ese punto infinito de nuestro ser
It's an infinite point within.
hacia el punto, perdón, desde el punto finito hacia el punto infinito del universo.
There it is. The finite point within has the direct connection to the infinite point in the universe.
Entonces, como Cañaris,
The Cañari,
nosotros nacemos de la tierra de la madre serpiente.
We are born of the serpent mother.
Por eso nuestro sistema digestivo tiene una forma de serpiente.
That's why our digestive system
Y
is in the form of a serpent,
está conectado al cerebro reptiliano,
and it's connected to our
the base of the reptilian brain,
el cerebelo,
at the cerebellum.
que controla instintos de sexualidad, agresividad y alimentación.
It controls the four things you just mentioned, which were sexuality, our digestion, there were two others. Intuition and clarity. Yeah.
Pero nosotros no queremos como Cañaris en una dimensión reptil.
However, they choose not to live in a reptile dimension, where those are the only elements or energies that are controlling them. Aggression, that was one of them.
Es por ello que esa energía la trabajamos para que llegue acá, y ahí viene la guacamaya.
The Wakamaya. This is why they carry the energy of the Wakamaya, which is the macaw.
Pues por eso Can es culebra, serpiente, y Yari,
Kan,
guacamaya.
Yari. So the snake, the digestive, is the Kan. That's the serpent, the Kan, and the crown ignition is the Yari. And that is the Wakamaya, which you know as the macaw. So consider that symbology, right? We have a choice, is what they're saying. You have a choice. Where are you living? You have a choice.
Entonces por ello que nosotros unimos los dos en un punto de equilibrio.
And so there is the point of balance. It is about the point of balance.
Porque la cabeza necesita de acá y acá necesita de acá.
Because the two must come together in this world.
Entonces, que se lleven como familia.
We are a family.
Eso sería el amor, la formalidad de nosotros, de convivir con el entorno, respetando todo.
We respect all. We live respecting all. We are all one.
Que todo lo sentimos como familia.
We are all one family. Our heart is with you. What is the story of the Cañari?
La historia
What
del
is your
Canari.
tell me the origin
La
story.
historia.
Bueno, el origen mítico
Sí.
de los Cañaris
Uh-huh.
cuenta que hay una serpiente estelar cósmica.
Uh-huh. A stellar, so in their mythical origin, a stellar serpent
Llegó a una laguna que está por Cañar en Culebrillas.
came into a lake, am I getting this
Yeah,
right?
a
Came-
lagoon.
a lagoon in the mountain.
En las montañas,
Sí, Culebrillas.
en Culebrillas.
En la línea del Capañán,
So it's a town.
que es un camino que viene desde Cusco hasta Quito.
Oh, into Cusco, a Quito.
Ajá.
So this where they came in was between Cusco and Quito,
Sube por montaña.
south of the mountain.
Entonces, ahí en esa laguna,
High altitude in the
High
mountains.
en esa laguna llegó esta madre cósmica y parió a los Cañaris.
So in this lagoon, we see the cosmic mother.
The cosmic mother came
Ah.
to the Canari.
Pero en la era anterior,
But prior to that,
cuando empezó el planeta a cambiar y empezaron a hundirse a través de las aguas que se dan,
when the planet just started to change and there was a lot of water,
dos hermanos,
two brothers,
Cusicayo,
Kusicayu,
Atacupayo,
Atucapayu,
Atacupayo, subieron hacia un cerro que queda por acá por el Zig-Zig
Yeah. So they came to a mountain up in Siksik, which is very close to here.
Y se llama Fasayán.
Pasayan, yo no comprende.
El nombre del cerro es
Oh,
Fasayán.
this is the name of the mountain. Yeah.
Ellos subieron y vieron cómo nuestros ancestros murieron, pero los dos sobrevivieron.
So this is their great flood story.
Yes.
You realize that there was the great flood, and these two brothers were at the top of this mountain where they had been guided to go.
And they seen all their ancestors that were now passed.
Ellos empezaron a pasar hambre. Empezaron
The
a
two
tener hambre.
brothers, they were hungry.
Y le hablaron desde su corazón al corazón del espíritu de esa montaña,
So they talked to the spirit,
The heart
the heart
of a mountain.
Yes.
que tenían hambre.
I said, I am hungry.
Y desde la montaña del Faseñán se ve adentro ya la Amazonía.
They could see into it.
Entonces el espíritu de la montaña respondió al llamado de los hermanos
So the spirit of the mountain responded and said to the brothers,
y envió dos hermosas guacamayas.
I am sending you two female guacamayas, two female macaws.
Tenían una formación de entre mujer y guacamaya.
They are the female, they are the women.
Entonces, pero los hermanos dormían la noche y despertaban y encontraban los alimentos.
And when they woke up, all the food was prepared for them. So they went to sleep, and when they woke up, there was basically a buffet in front of them.
Pero ellos no sabían quién los traía.
But they had no idea, how did it get here? Who made this food?
Y así fue muchos días.
It would have taken many days. There was so much food here.
Tuvieron curiosidad
So we're very curious.
y un hermano se quedó a vigilar quién traía los alimentos.
So one of the brothers stayed watch to see who was bringing all of this to them.
This was a child at Christmas.
Y él observó que llegaban estas hermosas mujeres.
And in walked these two women.
Y estas mujeres, y luego se hicieron amigos.
They all became friends.
Pero cuando ya el agua bajó,
And so when the water receded,
tenían que ellas volver con el espíritu de la montaña.
They had to return. The women that came had to return to the spirit of the mountains.
Pero una de ellas se enamoró de un hermano.
One of them fell in love with one of the brothers.
Y fue ahí el momento en el cual el espíritu de la montaña se preocupó.
oh, so the spirit of the mountain was concerned.
Ajá. Y un día apareció en el sueño de este hermano
So there was the dream of the brother. He had a dream.
He had a dream.
y le dijo si él estaría dispuesto a lo que sea si quiere quedar con su hija.
And then he was given the option to stay there.
Y entonces cuando él le respondió, dijo que lo que tenga que ser.
He said, whatever I have to do to have her stay.
Y cuando él despertó,
And when he awoke,
era una guacamaya.
Oh, the bird, the big guacamaya.
Ajá. Entonces por eso nuestra vestimenta es colorida.
Oh, why they wear the colorful vestments?
Porque son nuestros ancestros.
Because of their ancestors, of the guacamaya.
La guacamaya o las serpientes que nacemos, la estirpe Cañari.
So this is the light of this union of the serpent and the guacamaya that have called forward the Cañari.
Es un pueblo milenario.
This is their story of millions, right? This is the original story. This is their original story.
Miles de años antes que los incas.
Many millions of years before the Inca.
Fuimos invadidos por el pueblo inca.
Because
they were taken.
they were taken. The Inca took their pueblo when they came.
Resistimos.
And they resisted.
Luego por la conquista española.
Igual, they resisted when the conquistadors came.
Resistimos.
They resisted.
Porque nuestra forma de vida,
because of their form of life,
todos estamos al mismo nivel.
Everyone is the same. We are all one heart, one family, one community.
Por eso nuestras ceremonias
In these ceremonies, like we have been doing,
son en templos naturales,
in our natural temples,
conectados con la naturaleza.
we connect with nature, we connect with Mother Gaia.
Y es eso lo que hace especial a nuestro linaje.
And that's what makes our lineage so special.
acá. Entonces, así para nosotros ha sido un honor poder compartir, porque estamos en este nuevo tiempo, que es en el que todos tenemos que darnos la mano para sanar y salvar esta tierra.
And this is what makes it so special for us to be able to share, because this is the time when we all have to come together.
Que necesitan muchas personas como nosotros el planeta.
The planet needs all of us.
Gente sinchi, fuerte,
Strong people.
espíritu,
Yes.
Of the
espíritu
spirit.
combativo.
To have a strong warrior spirit.
Yes.
Seres de luz.
To be the pillars of light.
Después me he puesto mi vida estos 3 días acá por amor,
I have been here for 3 days with much love.
porque mis ancestros me hablaron y yo tenía que estar acá.
His ancestors have spoken to him and told him to come here.
Entonces, cuando algo tiene que organizarse, ellos siempre me ponen a las personas que deben estar.
When something like this has to be organized, his ancestors always call on him and make sure that the right people come and are there to make sure it's accomplished.
Por eso, toda la familia de Cañar que estamos acá,
That's why all of us Canari family here,
estamos poniendo nuestro corazón,
putting all of our heart into this,
porque sabemos que nuestros hijos,
because we know that our children,
nietos,
our grandchildren,
queremos que ellos
we want them
tengan tierra,
to have this
tengan
land,
agua,
water,
fuego,
fire,
aire,
and air,
que nazcan como nosotros en un momento donde que somos bendecidos.
we want them to be blessed.
Entonces, por eso servimos pensando en ellos.
And that's why we do what we do. It is our service. It is for them.
Que si no cuidamos las semillas,
If we don't take care of the seeds,
We don't plant the seeds.
este planeta muy pronto se destruirá.
We are at the moment of our own destruction.
Es por ello que la medicina que les hemos compartido con el corazón,
We share the medicine of our heart.
le hemos hecho sintiendo sus corazones.
we feel your hearts.
Y estos momentos ya los soñé antes de encontrarnos.
I dreamt of this before I found all of you.
Y eso me dio la confianza y la seguridad.
And that's what gave me confidence in the security.
Somos muy prudentes. Somos personas muy videntes, visionarios.
We're very visionary people.
Que estamos donde que verdaderamente sentimos amor.
We feel the love.
Caso contrario, no somos muy reservados en ese sentido.
We're very reserved like that.
Cuidamos mucho nuestra sabiduría,
We have to be very careful.
lo que hacemos. Y es por ello que tomamos medicina. Es por ello que nos gusta el frío.
That's why we take medicine and we like the cold.
Y en esos momentos cuando ya no sentimos que ya no podemos,
And when we feel like we can't take any more,
entonces nuestros sentidos que están dormidos
our sentiments that are asleep
despiertan
wake up.
y cogemos inmunidad.
And we then have humility.
Cogemos inmunidad. Nos volvemos fuertes.
And we become strong.
Eso hace que el sistema no nos contamine.
And we don't allow the system to contaminate us.
Porque comemos directo de nuestra madre.
Direct into this beautiful earth.
Porque solo lo que viene de la tierra
Solo located in our mother
es
planet
medicina.
is our medicine. All the medicine is in our earth.
Es por ello que está la comida cociéndose en la tierra.
Today we are cooking panchamanca in the
Y
earth.
todos los seres que habitan en la tierra, en la Pachamama,
So all of the elements that are there cooking.
están energizando esa medicina.
That is energy medicine.
Que no es solo un alimento.
It's just not element.
It's just not food, right? We're going to be literally eating, nourishing is really the word. We will be nourished by Mother Gaia herself, who right now has these sacred stones inside of her and is warming her and radiating love and presence and appreciation while she is saying, I will wrap my arms around that which you will nourish and let your bodies be nourished directly by me. Imagine that meal.
Ahí, en ese alimento viene sabiduría.
Oh, in this food lives great vitality.
Está la historia de estos pueblos.
And the story of all the pueblos, the stories of the stars.
La fuerza de estos pueblos.
The force of all of the pueblos.
Y que esa semillita que hemos puesto en sus corazones.
It is a seed of the heart.
And those seeds that we've placed in your hearts.
Yeah.
La reproduzcan en sus familias, en sus comunidades.
May they reproduce in your families.
In your hearts.
In your hearts.
Que aprendamos a vivir de formas sencillas.
That we grow to live in sincerity.
Conectados con nuestra madre.
Connected to Mother Earth.
Y con nuestro Padre Sol.
And to Father Son.
Mi carita está roja, mi rostro está rojo.
My face is red.
Es un beso del Padre Sol.
Because I got
He's
kissed.
been kissed by the sun.
Yes.
Gracias. And with all my heart and soul, I want all of you to know that Alexander is a pure soul of such light. We know that miracles, I'll slow down, can you share with him what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
Thank you. So he is, what I want everyone to know is that he is truly a soul of pure light.
It is luz para ella, para nosotros.
And that in the recognition of his carrying the lineage of the Cañari.
Porque has aceptado todo esto y
en recognición
de
Está bien. I'll try my Spanish. Yeah. That way we know it's not that good. My Spanish is
very
crazy.
good.
Oh,
very
you're
good.
so cute.
Very
So what I want you all to hear is that Alexander is doing incredible work. Su trabajo es increíble. Es puro. Es un milagro en acción. He is a miracle in action. And there is un formulario por milagros. Es sinceridad. It's sincerity, right? Más plus amor, sinceridad y amor y presence, no sé, su presence.
Su presencia.
Yeah. Estas tres cosas siempre milagros, miracles.
Eres un milagro.
Siempre, siempre. And this is what the Cañari have shown consistently. So many other traditions are now gone, but the Cañari are here. And those of you that may be familiar with the Dogon over in Africa, the Cañari are very much the Dogon of this side of the world. And their cosmic connection, Alexander's ability to be between the worlds, his name, his spiritual name, is, por favor, explicar su nombre espiritual.
Mis abuelos me pusieron un nombre, un yaguarité. Es un puma cósmico.
He's the cosmic puma,
Porque el
was the
puma
name he was given.
puede vivir en las altas montañas
They live high up in the mountains.
y también puede vivir en climas calientes, la costa, en la Amazonía.
And they're all the way down in the coast, in the hotlands too.
Entonces, eso me da la posibilidad de poder estar abajo y poder estar arriba y poder mover en múltiples direcciones.
So because he is able to move between the dimensions, because he is able to move between all of the worlds, this is why he was granted this name.
De poder viajar por los corazones.
I'm not sure what he said.
He said to be able to move between the
Yeah,
hearts.
to be able to move between it all.
Y es por ello esa noche cuando íbamos soplando, pasando con la espada, tenía que ir limpiando los corazones.
So when he cleanses us all, all the hearts,
como un canal,
like a channel,
Those channels he was talking about earlier.
cogiendo y botando, cogiendo y botando.
receiving and then giving.
Y cuando nuestro corazón está limpio,
When our hearts are clean,
no hay miedo.
there should be no fear.
No fear, right? If your heart is pure, there is no fear. Sincerity, love, presence, miracle,
Es como
energy.
un niño
It's like a child.
jugando.
Like a giant child, having fun, having fun.
Sí. Y a pesar de estos 3 días, bueno, muchos días más antes de preparación, yo estoy fuerte.
Says that it took a lot of preparation for all of this.
A lot.
But the last 3 days, he's just become very powerful in all the energy he's receiving.
Esta montaña con gran poder. Ahora más, porque presencia todo. This mountain has the energy here, the active ascension portal that has opened is so huge. And what I'd like to do right now is I'd like to bring up, I'm going to get off the stage for a moment and I'm going to bring up Joni, and you're already here, and I'm going to leave Alexander here. And Joni, who else was coming up with you?
Linda and Mary.
Okay,
They're
let's get a
here.
few more chairs. Yes, they are. Linda and Mary are here. En este momento, tengo 4 mujeres. They're going to share with the world their experience of his ceremony. Would he like to be here for that on stage, or it's his decision?
Okay.
Okay.
I'll let him know.
All right,
Van a
please.
venir las señoras para
Let's come
hablar
on up, please, Joni.
cómo ha pasado el tiempo.
Sorry, Henry.
Pero Kira dice si tienes que ir o si te quieres ir.
Es su
está bien.
selección. But todo mujeres ahora habla por la ceremonia.
Ya. O sea, yo, pues,
Sí, no, está bien.
Ya,
Sí.
todo bien. Sí.
sí, porque voy a ver a
Por
Pachamama.
favor. So Alexander needs to go tend to the ceremony, and while he does, we're going to be sharing about that ceremony. So muchísimas gracias.
Gracias.
Gracias. Okay, so we have Linda, por favor, Mary. Gracias. All right. Careful your chair. Get up. You're gonna fall off the stage. No, I'm sorry. There we are. All right. And I'll bring some prettiness over to add to your prettiness. There we are. Instant set design. You're welcome. All right. So please share, talk about.
Well, it's such an honor to be here in this time, and also to be here, to be asked to come and speak about our experiences. I just have to say that when I came into this tent earlier and the musicians were playing, I could feel the love. It was so emotional. I had tears in my eyes, and that exemplifies the whole weekend has been like this. So all of us were on the mountain. I am a little sketchy on time. That was about 48 hours ago, I think, a Friday night into Saturday. And we were present for the ceremony. And the ceremony, the equinox, spring equinox ceremony up on the mountain was about water. It was about the water element. That's springtime. We are water. Water grows our food. Water flows like love. Water is so important. It's one of the elements. But it was also about this bigger picture of the divine feminine coming into or over and stabilizing with the Amazon River, more water. And so we were present for all of that came together in the ceremony that we experienced on the mountain. We were given plant medicines that opened the third eye, that opened the heart, and we were given this intense honor of being present with the Cañari in a very personal experience. Because although the Cañari have devoted themselves to Pachamama, to Mother Earth, they hadn't made that connection, I don't think, with honoring or allowing the women to be part of their ceremonies. The women were not part of their sacred ceremonies until this weekend. And because of Shri and Kira's experiences with them and their influence, they've opened their hearts to allowing the women to be into the ceremony, and it became an intensely unique personal experience that we were allowed to experience with them, and they accepted us as family. Louder, okay. So everybody has a unique experience up there, and as part of these plant medicines, and that's why I've asked my lovely friends to come with me and talk about this, because I couldn't possibly remember everything, and because the medicine works inside of us and helps us find the personal gifts that we should receive from that. So my experience may not have been their experiences. And one thing before I turn it over to them and hear their experiences, what I wanted to say was, I was so struck with the poetry of their words, and I don't speak Spanish, so I could only go by what Maria translated. And I also had Linda next to me whispering in my ear at times where I couldn't hear what Maria was saying because she was on the other side of the circle and there was music playing sometimes. And there was just such poetry. I have just never experienced that before. It was just so beautiful. It brought tears. Everyone was crying. They talked about how there is no good and bad and no lower and higher. It's all one. They talked about how everything is medicine. Everything that we do is medicine. The food that we eat, our families, the earth, the sky, everything is medicine. And that is such a beautiful thought and something to carry back into our own lives, to think about what is our medicine. And those are just a couple of the things that I found so personal, and there's so much love there. There was so much love. So I'll turn it over to Maria first. If you could talk about your experiences.
Thank you. I just want to say how grateful I am to be here and to be surrounded by this energy, to be locked into this light. It is indescribable. And each and every one of us have had our own personal experiences. And for me, there's so many things. I'm only going to share some of them. What I found for me was that I learned that it was something I already knew, that there was medicine all around us, but it was confirmed that there was medicine, that we are medicine, that we are the medicine. And there's medicine in everything, in every element around us. The energy of the Canari, this land, Shri and Kira, our family here, each and every one of us create, with our medicine, we create this oneness that is it just fills you up, and it's overwhelming, but it brings you peace and it's healing. And so for me, this journey has been a journey of healing and oneness and understanding my mastery, and where we seem to believe that there's separation in everything, and it's a false illusion. We are all one, and when we come together, we are better together, yes. Right? And so the Canari, what was so intriguing and interesting was to see how the Canari, their families came together, their sisters and brothers and wives and husbands, and we got to watch them express their love to each other. And that was very special for me. The devotion that they have for each other and for the land. Everything is so sacred and so very special that there's nowhere to hide. The light is just everywhere. And so if you ever get a chance to be with the Canari people, it will change your life. This has been life-changing for me. Thank you, Sri and Kira.
Mary.
Oh gosh. Oh, I love all of you guys so much. And what she said was so true. Like the light just is. We all are that. And I think the biggest thing for me with the weekend, especially last night in the Temescal, was the coming together in complete darkness with the earth, the stone. I mean, we were sitting on the earth, you know, right with our root chakras, feet on the ground. And there were these ancient sacred stones that they specifically picked, and they were heated to red hot. And there were special medicines that he put on these stones from his special bag that were highly energized from his heart. And he had this sacred water, and he would pour it over it, and we would just all be bathing in that as they builded this huge, like, I can't explain it, like womb. They would close us in there, and as it was wafting, it was literally like we all became one. There was no separation at all. Like you couldn't see anything. It was complete darkness, but you could see light. I can't explain it. It's just, it's an experiential something. You just got to experience yourself. It will forever change you. And it makes you realize we're so much more than what we think we are. And together we are better. I mean, it's not cliche. It's the truth. Yeah. And thank you, Kira. I love you so dearly. Eons. And you too, Shri. Not a secondary. You are one. You two are one. And to the Cañari, thank you so much for opening your hearts and preparing this for us to experience, because so many things converge. Like we don't even understand everything that happened yet, but it was big. It was big. So that's my experience. I could sit up here and talk. I'm a talker, but yeah, thank you so much again. So much humbleness of heart and purity, sincerity, love, and presence. That's it. That's it.
Linda.
Well, I haven't, it's hard for me to find the words because I'm just so full of emotion and love. And all I know, it's overwhelming. It's just overwhelming. And I'm still processing the evening. All the sisters here have shared their hearts and explained it so well. And, you know, I'm just truly grateful, and I'm honored, and I'm so thankful for each and every one of you, for the beautiful mountain, for the sky, for the water, for just everything around me. I feel like I've rebirthed. I'm a new person. I'm not the same person I was yesterday. And it's just an amazing experience that I can't put into words. All I can say is thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you, Divine, for the presence, for having me here, and for me being able to experience all this beauty and all this love.
So just to tie all of this up, I'm always looking for ways for our experience to come to you at home, so that you can, even if you weren't here, that you feel this energy, that you feel what we felt. And I think part of that today is the awakening. And I think part of that is for everyone to take everything that's been said here in all the other workshops and all the other interviews, and think about that for yourselves. Like what is the medicine of your life? And what food are you eating? What do you use for medicine? Are you using plant medicines? Do you honor nature? Do you walk in nature? Do you experience nature even with pictures? Wherever you are, there are ways that you can connect with this love that we're giving to you through the internet. And just think about your relationships, your work, everything. And we love you so much. And I hope you can feel our hearts to your hearts. Namaste.
Namaste. And before you all go away, you're welcome to clap. I know you were trying to clap. Clapping is allowed. I'm gonna shimmy. I'm shimmying back here. No, stop. I'm good. I can shimmy. I'm from the 60s. We know how to do it. All right. So I just want to share with all of you that if you're not aware of this amazing panel, first of all, this beautiful panel was brought to you by Joni Moore, and Joni is the president of Higher Love Cannabis, and she's up in the UP of Michigan.
Yes.
And they just opened their first dispensaries. If you happen to be up there, and what I really want all of you to hear is that in the transcendent energy of this panel, Joni's company did something that I just love talking about to everybody I can meet, and that is that they are not only conscious of what they're doing, but they're doing it inside an ex-naval base. And I just really think that that deserves a lot of public congratulations. And so I wanted to make sure that public congratulations got up here for Joni and all that she's doing as a woman who is at the helm of a large corporation in an industry that is also fighting for its heart right now. So we need to support people like Joni, and we are so grateful to you.
Thank you, Karen.
Yeah, sincerely. And I was just thinking if each one of you could just, maybe introduce yourself and give a minute as to why you're here, so that we know a little bit more about you, because I know everyone's at home going, I can feel the energy of this powerful group of women and this beautiful cross of perfect balance with the four. So I'm going to begin right here with beautiful Linda. So just a minute on you and why you're here.
Okay, well, hi, my name's Linda, and I'm here. I've been following Shri and Kira since 2006, and from the distance of California. And they've been a big part of my life, a big part of my sanity, a big part of my heart awakening and opening. And I can't live without your Sunday shows. My week does not go right if I'm not listening in those 2 hours. So I so sincerely appreciate the work and everything you do, to make this an amazing place, and a place where we can find healing, and we can find love, and we can find everything that we need. And thank you for having me again. I really do appreciate it.
My turn. I'm kind of here.
It's okay. They're in ceremony, right?
My name is Mary Jacobs, and I've been following Shri and Care for 2013, but lifetimes, I suppose. And I really came this time. I don't know, it was a heart call. It really was. I can't really put it into words. There were a lot of different things and pieces coming together at the same time, and I was just guided from the heart, and also from my beloved Kira. So that's really the reason why I'm here, just to have an open heart and allow myself to receive as I give, and purge whatever needs to be purged, while calling in the healing and the love for all of us. I'm no better than anybody. I am you, right? So yeah, that's why I'm here, really from a sincere place.
Thank you. Thank you. How about you, Joni?
Thank you. I've been a follower of Shri and Kira since about 2009. I was called to be here today for some of the reasons that Kira already mentioned, that my company is fighting to keep its heart. And so I wanted to bring this energy home. Also, I was called to be here. When I first heard about this event, there was no doubt in my mind that I had to be here. And now I know why. And then personally, like Mary said, I'm no different than anyone. I have fears and insecurities, and I came to purge those, and just to be with all of the beautiful people here at the Cañari. Every person here is just so amazing. This land is full of love. This is a paradise. And that's why I came, and I'll come back.
Thank you, sweetheart.
My name's Maria. I did not follow Shri and Kira. I was invited here by Linda, and I'm so happy that I said yes. But in my heart, I know that Kira was calling me here, and the mountains, Tosa. And I came here for healing and clearing. Also, I have felt very lost. Thank you so much. I feel so at home here with my family. Kira said to me, "Welcome home." And it was the best thing she could have said, because that's how I feel. And I want to thank you so much. All of you are my family. I'm going to be a devoted follower. So thank you, Shri and Kira. I love you.
We love you, sweetheart.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank all of you for receiving that blessing. Talk about a day of awakening, is it not? I hope you're all at home feeling the blessings that we're receiving here, because that is our sacred intention. Thank you, beautiful four beings of perfect balance. I'm so excited. Thank you. Thank you. We are so grateful. All right. And now we're going to do our quick change.
Try this, please.
Okay. I'm being handed a microphone. Maybe we should be giving it to Zaw.
Already done.
Oh, already done. Where do I do? I'll just do that. I'll just hold it.
Let me test it. Hang on a sec.
Zaw, are you going to stand, honey, or would you like to sit? I'm going to introduce you, but do you want to stand or sit?
Stand first, and then I'll sit.
Then I'll leave you a chair. Is it on now?
Yeah.
Check, check.
You're right.
I'm on. Okay, how about you, Zaw? Doesn't shake, rattle, and roll. I think I know right here. What, sweetheart?
We're gonna let go of those.
We're letting go of these. You and I are wrong.
You guys can hold your volume up.
All right.
We know how to do that. We're enunciators. All right. All right. So are we too close to that camera now? Okay. So beloved beings of this incredible universe of all that we are, I want to take you on a journey. And I want to invite you to bring your hand to your heart and really breathe in just the energy of this incredible master standing next to me. It is rare on this planet that we get to be in the presence of one like this, much less that we give ourselves the gift of really knowing who this is. 14, 16 years ago, however it is, in linear time, we intersected. And at that time, his sacred partner was still in body. And it was a moment for me of homecoming that has been in my heart always since then. For me to be in the presence of Zaw always brings tears, because he is the closest gift of family I have outside of my husband. When I am next to you, I only see me, because your radiance is so profoundly perfect. Thank you. Thank you. We really see you. We know who's in there, don't we all? And so you are in for such a treat. This is truly the other love of my life. And so he and his beloved.
Oh, Shree's looking at me funny now.
He knows where he stands. We're good. All right. So you're in for a treat. That's all I need to say. Let us all receive.
What a blessing to be with family. I'm just tingling all over, bubbling, goosebumps, duck bumps, Pleiadian bumps. I'm home too. This is my family. You're all my family. It's what makes it family. I feel it deeply. And I'm going to do what Kira said. I'm going to take you on a journey. She mentioned my sacred partner of 27 years, the beautiful Moira from the Philippines, a psychic healer, also from Venus. And I was from Jupiter, and I'm also from the Pleiades. But Moira gave me a message because I asked for a message from Moira before I came here. And Moira works very closely with Kuan Yin. And I use these to do personal oracling. It's called the Kuan Yin Oracle. And so I asked to get a card, but I didn't want to pick the card. I wanted a person from our meeting to pick the card so it wasn't like, well, I'm picking my own card. So I shuffled the deck, gave it to Gentleman Jim and asked him to pick one card, one message. And out came this card. And look at the card. It's called Sisters of the Star Blossoms.
Woohoo!
So
Beautiful.
I was asking her, what is this event about? The Moira asking her. And she said it's about the gathering of the sisters of the star blossoms. I said, whoa, that sounds wonderful. Even though Sri and I aren't sisters, we've raised our femininity where we're balanced with the masculine and the femininity. And one of her greatest teachings was, in the Aquarian age, the men need to raise their their feminine energies, and the women need to raise their masculine energies so that we're all powerful beings coming from love. And so when I selected that card, I need my glasses, please. And they are in that white bag. There's a brown bag with a Hindu Om symbol, and inside that are the glasses. And in this mark on the page where the card was are Moira's ashes, some of them. I have them in a sacred urn, peacock urn at home. And we're spreading a little bit in all sacred places. And she really wanted to come here. And Sri and Kira are so wonderful to accept that. Thank you so much, dear. And so here's my purple Saint Germain glasses. Make sure everything I read is of the highest vibration. And this is what this is about, according to Moira and the Sisters of the Star Blossoms. It's not very long, so I believe we'll be able to have just enough time, and that will be my sharing with you for today. It is good to remember. Hands to the heart, please. Deep breath. We're invoking Moira's presence, which is always here with us, but she's up in Venus working with Kuan Yin now. It is good to remember that while we each take our own unique journey back into divine bliss and truth, we have plenty of friends that love us unconditionally. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps again. This is why I'm reading rather than because there's nothing better than this from Kuan Yin and Moira. And we wish to help us find the way home. The way home. Does anybody else talk about this being a home? This is a home because this is a place of divine destiny where the East meets the West, the eagle and the condor, and the tribes of the different colors with the tribes of the different colors here mixing to bring peace to earth. This is a very important event and a very important place. And the moment I got here, I felt it, but they knew it ahead of time. Your energy can help nourish and lift the energies of others in a group as you are able to carry a high vibration of love in your heart. Well, many hands make light work too. It is the family together that make the light work, because a wizard in his cave alone is one thing, but the community. When we allow ourselves to be helped, we help others too. It is a spiral of support and love that is wishing to connect more so with you now, the listeners here. Group energy is powerful. Is that true?
Yes.
Yes. Is it true? When used consciously, it can help us expand in the same way that if you were doing any task, many hands could make light work, make work light, as the saying goes. Well, many hands make light work too. Your energy, everybody's energy, because we're all one, we're all equals. Some may be on the path a little longer, some a little less, but we're all one with the equal love that Holy Mother, Father, Goddess has for each of us equally. The ancient Chinese over 2,000 years ago referred to the Pleiades as the star blossoms. That's what I saw 2 nights ago, medicine night, in the stars. The Pleiades, the star sisters, and the dove, the sacred doves. And so when I was dancing with the fire, the shamans were saying, no, don't step over there. Those are hot coals. And I was even barefoot dancing on the coals. And then they said, you were dancing with the shaman said to me when he gave me this as a gift, which just a medicine bag, was just touched my heart so deeply. Because he said, your heart is pure and full of love. And you wanted to go fly with the birds. So that's why you were dancing. They had made bird images over there. I didn't know that. I was in another dimension and I was doing work with the Pleiades. So I was playing at ease. I like that much better than being serious, because I enjoy opening all my chakras, especially my highest, the clown chakra. These 7 stellar sisters work together as a group of higher consciousness to radiate great love. So they were saying that these sisters were here in body and in spirit. These 7 stellar sisters bring a higher consciousness specifically to radiate great love. Is there great love been here?
Absolutely.
And great light. Has there been great light here?
Yes.
On our planet. And they can assist you now to find the light in the groups with which you share involvement, which is our groups. And the Canari, it is service to connect with heart-centered groups that feel good. Does it feel good here?
Yes.
Does it feel good here?
Yes.
Yeah, it does. It truly does. My God, my goddess. In service, when you are supported and supporting of such groups, you are guided to allow this to happen more in your life right now. Solitary practice is an important element of growth and can be extremely powerful, but sometimes group energy is an important element of your spiritual growth too. And you are encouraged to meditate, pray, and chant with these groups and these communities of light that resonate with your heart. How could she have picked this card? How could these words be written in this book? Sometimes more spiritually advanced groups. Is this an advanced spiritual group?
Yes.
Let me tell you, this may be the most advanced group. If we want to grade it like that, let's just say one of the very most advanced groups whose time is now, because the earth is needing. We are fulfilling prophetic work here in this land. So sometimes more advanced souls subconsciously feel that they need to carry the group energy themselves. Sometimes, and there's many advanced beings here, more spiritually advanced souls subconsciously feel that they need to carry the group energy themselves. You are guided to surrender that idea and any excessive responsibility to assume your natural cooperation and perhaps even authority in the group from a place of love rather than burden. and to allow yourself to be lifted as well as contributing your light and love to your chosen groups and communities. The sisters of the star blossoms will help you with that. They know that group energy is give and take. It's a give and take. That when we allow ourselves to thrive, so can the group gain energy and grow. The group, the hive, the pod. You are guided now to balance your involvement, all of us. You are invited now to balance your involvement with group energy. This is your time to get involved with ShriandKira.com. And the WWA Global, the Canari in Ecuador, and this beautiful place. The Sisters of the Star Blossoms invite you. You're guided now to help as a unique divine being, which each of us are. If not, we'd be one group, one heart walking around as one. All of us. So we're divided into individuals for a reason, because each of us are special and important. There were no mistakes, no errors. You are guided now to balance your involvement, calling on your spiritual guidance that loves you unconditionally with group energy on the physical plane, through groups that nourish you and love you in a way that feels good to you. Do you feel good with the love that you receive here in this spiritual community?
Yes.
And what, pardon?
Yes.
And with the Canari up in the mountains and all their sacred ceremonies, and with the land, do you feel good with the land and the Canari?
Yes. Yes.
Got it. So if it feels good for you, get involved more. And if you haven't got involved yet, this is the time. Time is short. This oracle is a guidance to call upon your stellar energies. This oracle is guidance for you to call upon your stellar energies in the stars that are unconditionally loving and supportive in the appearance of the sisters of the star blossoms. I see so many beautiful sisters here. I can't pass one by without saying, yes, you are one of the sisters of the star blossoms. Indeed. That indicates that you have a soul connection that can nourish you to higher vibrational star consciousness with this group, such as that of the Pleiades, as if we were coming down from the Pleiades. We said, well, I know I have, and I'm sure many of you have as well. So, do we have a lit candle already, or can we light a candle?
How about we hold up a lotus as
That
a
would be
candle?
beautiful.
And
Beautiful.
this came from the Violet, all of these came from the Violet Ray Shiva temple,
Oh,
so they're carrying that
beautiful.
energy.
Yeah.
And this came from the altar, these are all from the
Oh,
altar
that's
itself.
beautiful.
Would you like it to be in the frame? Like I can, here. Tell me, Sri, if we can see any
You're
of
good.
these.
Okay,
I'm gonna put all
perfect.
three together.
With the intention of
and,
that,
and there's amethyst in here.
that
Excuse
is
me.
lit.
Exactly.
We're lighting it with the light of our soul. We're lighting it with the light of the fires of the Canari. We are lighting this with the fire of the moment, and with our dear cosmic Lady Master, Sri Kira. Masters both are they. I'm telling you, these people are really chosen by the great spirits to do a great work. And the more we can support them, the more we will be supported ourselves and blessed ourselves. With her intention here, this is fine. The masters say fine. Sane is the light, better than the light. So thank you. Light a candle, sit quietly, gazing at the candle, or the candle lit in your heart. When you imagine that you can close your eyes and still sense or see the candle in your mind or heart, say now. You can say it out loud, or you can say it to yourself. And you at home, say it out loud or to yourself. I now call upon the group energy that loves me.
I now call upon the group energy that loves me.
Unconditionally.
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 I call upon the souls in this group energy
I call upon the souls in this group energy
and ask for your healing presence
and ask for your healing presence
and your love.
Your love.
Come into me now.
Come into me now.
Of my own free will.
Of my own free
With
will.
divine Kuan Yin to confirm.
The divine Kuan Yin to confirm.
So mote it be.
So mote it be.
Be aware of the light of the candle in your heart, and the light here is radiating the love of the galaxy and a circle of light that forms around you now. Be aware of this light from the higher dimensions. The sisters of the star blossoms are creating for you. Imagine that this light is becoming the light of a star. You are that circle of light, a soul of divine essence. Around you, there are guides and souls in the physical world that you may or may not recognize, but send them love. Send them love. Be at peace, imagining that you are in this circle together, gathered around the candle. And now in closing, imagine that you and all send love to the star. They're up there saying, what a great group this is. These are the star sisters and brothers, all meant to be here, and you at home too, doing the work. This is a time when so many of us are going to flood the planet with our light and come together in groups that all the other negativity will fall away. This is the time all the tribes prophesied about, the coming of peace on earth. So mote it be.
So mote it be.
So mote it be.
So mote it be.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Now, in closing, say thank you for your healing sent with unconditional love. Namaste. And when you're ready, you can just open your eyes and listen to our last little prayer to the sisters of the star blossoms. Very short. I call upon the unconditional love of the sisters of the star blossoms and the beloved Kuan Yin. Please help me know when to step back and when to step forward when I'm with group energy. Help me rise above my fears of being lost or consumed or hurt. And help me not hide in a group either. Help me know my own light and be able to share it fearlessly like a lion or tiger or bear with mercy and compassion for all. Help me find my rightful place within group energy now, beloveds, for the greatest good. So be it. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
So it is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So before we let you retire there, I just want all of you to just have another moment of really feeling this gift. And so as we breathe this in, as we anchor this awakening, we thank you for this gift from you and Moira. And I felt the tangible, did you all feel the tangible healing energy? Did you all feel that? I felt tangible healing pulses and affirmations. So thank you. Thank you.
And we thank Kuan Yin.
The water flows again, does it not?
And we thank you.
Thank you, sweetheart.
And you, Shri.
Uh-huh.
And all of you in Tosa.
Oh, thank you. Many blessings.
Thank you.
No, thank you, sweetheart. We are at a moment where we're getting pretty close to culminating this morning segment, and I have a favor to ask. Those of you that are over there, can you lift up this tent wall for us? The reason we're going to ask them to lift up that tent wall is because we have another camera. You just have to hold it up for a second. We want to show you all what's happening up at the top of the mountain right now. And so there it is. So we're going to give you a little sneak preview. And Shri, how about you tell me? I'll do this. So we've got the camera. We want you to see what's going on right up there. How are we doing, Shri? Not good.
No.
Who am I seeing?
You've got the back of Elaine's
All right,
head.
then keep telling me where to move.
There we go.
Okay, or turn the computer so I can see it. There we are. So I want you to see way up the ceremonia. If you can see, we're trying to get the ceremony too, maybe this side. You can't really see it all, but shortly, okay, we're good.
Yeah.
We're good. That gives you guys a good idea of what's happening. Shortly, we're going to be opening up our beautiful meal, our beautiful nourishment that's been cooking all morning in the earth. And as we get ready to culminate this morning awakening segment, what's so important to remember is that everything that you have felt today, everything that you have been working with this morning, all of the energies, let's go back to where we began with that music. Call that music in. All those beautiful beings, you know, they have been rehearsing and rehearsing and rehearsing, and it's very difficult. Imagine playing one flute, but imagine playing 3 at a time in 3 different octaves and hitting the right note on every one, holding them together. And that is presence. That is magic. That is oneness. And then we floated from that into beautiful Alexander, who has been really a champion of this entire energy. One of the things our panel shared that Joni headed up with all of our beautiful other beings is that this has been a miraculous weekend. We have had miracles happen that were outside of even our wildest dreams. It cannot be stressed enough that not only was this the first time in 2,500 years that the Cañari are up in their own temple that was recently discovered here on Tosa Blue Mountain, but it was the first time they'd ever acknowledged their women. And it was the first time that the women were brought in. And there were women who were up there crying because they've never even seen so many women be together in ceremony before. This was a weekend where the essence of WWA, the essence of women, wellness, and awakenings is being embodied in ways that defy the mind. The beautiful flow of the water, the continuous overlay of consciousness, the expanded presence that has come forward is preparing us. It's how we navigate between now and September that matters. It's how we navigate. This moment, this navigation, this is that call to arms to be all that you are. From this moment, March, this equinox to the September is a rainbow bridge of energy. Everything, remember it is the all, there is no limitation. Everything is amplifying. What are you focusing on? If you're focusing on conspiracy, that will amplify for you. And you will be absolutely unable to attain the state of consciousness that can solve the solution, because conspiracy is born of the energy that self-sustains that which seeks to stop you. It's all distraction. At the end of the day, the mind is a self-fulfilling, very greedy being. The mind must do its best to sabotage you. Capital U, Y-O-U. The Y-O-U that absolutely smiles at all of it, that is able to sustain a multidimensional presence anchored in the smile and in the essence of the forgive them, they know not what they do. And that is not a judgment. It's just an awareness that brings a smile. How can it ever be personal when that which is emoting doesn't even understand what they're saying? It is only the smaller you that can ever be offended by that moment. And I want to make clear, because Zodkil's here going, make this clear. I want to make this clear. This is not saying that there are not ramifications of the world of density. Far from it. But it's not your job to remedy another's. The only job, if you want to accept a job, is to be the best you can be. Remember who you are. Illuminate. Be you without embarrassment. Be you without shame. Be you. Who are you? You are exactly perfect. And the minute you know that, everything comes together. It is in our doubt. It is in our fear. It is in the mind chatter that is seeking a leader. You ever have your mind chatter go out of control? You ever have that? Who are you to think that? Why are you thinking that? Right? Right? It's like that. All right. So that's what's going on up here, right? We have this mind chatter that's just going on. And it's going to tell you every reason why you shouldn't expand and every reason why you shouldn't do. And here's all the reasons. And here's what this one said. Archangel Zodkil again. If there is but one sin, and this was in response to my beloved Shri's questioning of Archangel Zodkil when Shri said to Zodkil many, many years ago, talk to me about sin. And literally Zodkil laughed. That was the first response Sri got, was laughter. And the reason Zadkiel laughed is Zadkiel said, if there is but one sin on your planet, to use your words, it would be to interfere with the path of another, or to allow another to interfere with your path. Breathe that in. Because what that is, and I really appreciate Zadkiel saying to use your word sin, what that really is our own self-annihilation of the experience and the blessing of the sacred union of the mastery with the body. How many more lifetimes do we have to go before we say yes to this? How many more times do we need to suffer? How many more times do we need to feel pain? How many more times do we need to keep recreating this world experience until we can actually come together and remember? How about right now? How right now? You know, pain ends. The minute you say pain ends. And guys, I'm standing up here before you. You have all watched Sri and my very public journey. It ends when you say no more. It ends when you say, I am not staring down a wheelchair and an escalator to live in my home. It's when you say enough is enough. When you are taken to the depth of your own self-inquiry, and you must surrender even then to that. It is the moment where you reach out on the borderlands of sanity and dive, knowing that whatever happens, the dive was the reason you were there. To be able to trust at the level of trust that ignites the constant inspiration, the rejuvenation, the reverse aging, the love, the anchoring, the connection, and the miracles as the law of instantaneous manifestation. I want you to breathe that in, because you are that. You are that. You are so amazing that you incarnated right here, right now. How many of you have been journeying with Sri and I over the past 2 years as the lineage holders, and we've been time surfing together, right? We've all been time surfing together. We've all time surfed here right now today, every single one of us, because we have been tapped on the shoulder. We've been tapped on the shoulder to say, hey, how much longer are you going to let the perception of what a mainstream is tell you why you are not already whole? Tell you by what you're thinking is crazy. Maybe the ultimate propaganda is you believing less than you are. That's the key in front of you right now. Our world is seeking balance, and we are awake because we see that. This isn't about one wins and another loses. It's not even close to that. This is just about the natural balance. Every being is here to do exactly as that energy is here to do. Every being that has lined up in this timeline in this way right now is here to do exactly what they're doing. Without the one that seeks to call you back, you would not be. Without the one that champions you, you would not be. And that one is you. Gaze within. Who is the one within that's riding the ship right now? Who's the captain? Is it the one that seeks to hold you back, or is it the one that champions you? Because it's within you. And this moment of awakening is so profound that our Mother Gaia cannot wait for us anymore. She's doing what all empowered mothers are being called to do. She has stepped forward with her armor and her tough love and said, I am moving to the next level. You coming? Literally. She's doing what every mother needs to do. She's saying, hey, I'm an empty nester now. Here's my next step. So are you willing to join me? Or do you need me to still take care of you? Because if you do, it's a different type of care, because my focus is with the ascended presence of what's happening. This is a moment for you to say yes to you. And this afternoon, Sri and I are very, very excited to share with you for the very first time the full, complete sharing from the divine directors through all of the ascended masters of the self-ascended process of the planet and how that is proceeding and how that energy affects all of us. And so I trust you'll be with us in this awakening process this afternoon, when we will also be blessed to welcome both Jane Britton and Erin Toppenberg, and to talk about how, as water bearers, what have we been talking about all weekend? What has been integrated everywhere? Mother Gaia is, her waters are talking, they're screaming. And so we will be also working with the water this afternoon, bringing you some incredible information. So go enjoy your lunch and please return at 2 p.m. Same bat channel, same place. Wherever you've grabbed us right now, we will be. That we said, hey, the world needs to see this. So we rolled this baby out for the whole world right now. Whether you registered or not, welcome. This is a moment for us all. Wow, we have got the wind really blowing here, so much so that tells you the power of what's happening. And, you know, the water is speaking. It's saying, give me back to the earth. Let me be. And we had a big gust of wind come, and a lot of people are going to help right now. What you heard was what's going to be coming up next, these wonderful water demonstrations. And the wind came in and said, we are one, because Mother Gaia has been speaking all weekend. And that's another one of her signs saying, yes, it is the app. Whoa, here it comes. Alexander, who's been here all weekend, if you were with us this morning, Alexander Padilla, who is our lead ceremonist, the wind is his element. And so the fact that we just finished Panchamanca and that the wind and the water have met seemed like the perfect way to begin.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because when we get down to basics, which if you're going to be reborn, if you're going to claim a new life, we have to first go back to what's fundamental.
Right.
And then that's the platform upon which we create that which we're here to create.
Yes.
Well, the fundamentals happen to be the elementals, do they not? The earth, the sky, I mean, the air, the water, the sun. When we look at those elements and how they interact in our life, meaning can you gaze at the sky and see through to the universe and feel charged? Can you breathe in the air and feel the life-supporting energy of the air? When you drink water, do you realize and feel how it is hydrating you and sustaining this very vessel?
Yeah.
It's really important that we scroll back and appreciate the fundamental elemental pieces that support our life. And then, of course, our consciousness will dance and create art and beauty and community, as long as the fundamentals are in place and loved and respected. And so one of the things our Cañari brethren have brought forward today for us is that deep respect for Mother Earth, the deep respect for the water and the wind, as we began with today, the wind and the air and the vitality that comes. And we are living at the intersection of all of these gifts.
Breathe that in. You know, really breathe that in. The majesty, the beauty, the conscious awareness of the miracle of what we are, and the expression of this incredible illusion into a planet of form. In this moment right now, on this day of balance, our mother is calling out to us and saying, hey, guess what? It's my time. And because it's my time, I've raised you well, now go out and do me proud, kind of thing. The beautiful Mother Gaia is looking at us and saying, do what you know how to do. You are ready. The world is ready. And before we go any further, speaking of this world, my heart wants to really go out to all of you that are awake and with us all around the globe right now. Many, many of you have been writing us during the break. I went ahead and checked in on some of you. I actually put on this mala for the group of you that's over there in Turkey right now. I don't know if you're the same group that sent this to me, but this was sent to me from a beautiful group that works with us in Turkey. And so thank you, and a shout out to all of you that are in Turkey. Thank you, and a shout out to all of you that are coming to us from India, coming to us from Nepal, coming to us from Russia. I'm trying to remember them all. Hungary, Hungary, Ireland, in UK, I guess not England, UK.
It's fine.
And a lot of other countries I'm forgetting right now. I just wanted to take a moment and say thank you. Yeah. And really thank you for being here with us, because this is the essence of this weekend. It is all about the oneness energy. And in that oneness, you might be noticing this graphic. Hopefully you're noticing it. If you're on our email list, you already received this one. But what this graphic is showing you is it's really just a depiction of the Ganga as this feminine energy in harmony with this beautiful Amazonian energy that has come in now to be this anchor. And in order for that anchor to really be sustained, it means that all of our love, all of our attention, all of our presence needs to return to the water. We all are at a moment where a precious resource that matters, that does everything we're all talking about, it actually does, is in calling out to all of us and saying, as you flow, so shall I. As I flow, so are you. We are one. Are we not most of this physical body? Is it not water? This is our moment to honor the greatest gift of all, the gift of our temple and the temple that sustains the temple. That is the essence of our multidimensional awareness, is it not? To be able to see that which so many fail to even perceive, to be one with the flow as the flow is with us. And that is where I like to use the T word, and the T word's trust. Because when the trust comes in, the flow amplifies. And the trust comes from that absolute anchorship of your own mastery, whereby there is such a great clarity that that which is not aligned does not even enter your vision. And so it's just click, 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 click. And those clicks brought us to this moment. They brought us to the WWA Global Festival as it is today, this micro festival, as we've all been giggling about it, with what's been going on here at Tosa Blue Mountain and what's going on there in your living room, there in your community, there where you are with us right now. It brings us to a moment of introduction that is so beautifully orchestrated by the universe that you just couldn't make it up. I mean, really, right?
Right. We talk about synchronistic intersections of paths and purposes. We are delighted to be sharing one of those synchronicities now.
And you know, this synchronicity came from a recent guest who, talk about a return. This guest who was here recently, Midge, hey, shout out to Midge. We appeared, Midge was a producer. She brought us, up to Idaho in, I don't know, but she even brought me the original video. And we appeared, she brought us up to Idaho. We did the appearance and had a lovely, wonderful engagement with her. Well, due to a whole series of synchronicities with her, she wound up back here at Tosa Blue Mountain all these years later, only about a few months ago, maybe about 4 or 5 months ago. An instant reconnection, an instant, you know, everything's reconnecting, everything's coming back together. Through that connection and her connection with WWA, it brought us to a connection that she had previously made. And so all these circles are coming together. All these fabulous, empowered, roaring women are saying yes and coming together in alignment, coming together in the highest aspiration of the all, which is the co-created beauty that together we are better. When we sit at the master's table, each recognizing each being's incredible gifts, we become that which we have prayed for. We are that which we are waiting for. We are. And in the we are, it brought a phone call into my life, a Zoom call that I will never forget because it was love at first sight with the amazing Jane Britton and the amazing Erin Tappenberg. Thank you. Forgive me. These two women that you are about to spend time with are so accomplished that I could sit here and just read bios all day, but we know bios are words and you can find them at thewaterbearers.org and go read them. But what matters more in this moment are that these two women came together back in 2015 with a clear vision that was based in heart, based in sincerity, based in love, based in presence, and they are making a difference in a way that we all bow before. And so without further ado, you need to meet these two women. So please, come on up.
Let's go.
All right. Welcome. Oh my goodness. Jane Britton, Erin Tappenberg. We are so blessed to have you here.
Fantastic.
I want to sit in the audience and hear what you have to say.
Well, first of all, thank you, because it really was a synchronistic turn of events that about 10 days ago got us connected, and here we are. When you say yes to the flow and you trust in your heart, you trust in the flow of water, magic happens.
It certainly does. Erin flew in from California to be here. I actually live in Ecuador. I live an hour away. So that was a synchronistic moment anyway. But speaking of water, water spoke to both of us and in such a profound way. We just came up with the Water Bearers is our organization. And because, you know, we see so many in our travels, we see so many women walking miles to get water. with the jug on their head, the buckets on their head, and realizing that, well, what could we do about this? So we said, let's start a 30-day marketing campaign for World Water Day. The Water Bearers wasn't anything. It was a name. We didn't have a bank account. We didn't have a nonprofit. So we hooked up with another organization, Ways to Water.
A friend of mine who's been doing this work for many years. It's a bunch of surfers. So typically, usually a bunch of guys going around and helping communities, which was great. Because again, we just had this idea and we're listening to the water.
So that first 30-day campaign that we invited 100 women from around the world to help us fundraise. And so it became so successful. We managed to reach 320,000 people with clean water in 30 days, with Waves for Water being able to implement the program. But when we started traveling with them, because this, took on a little bit, we realized that it needed to be the women. We needed to, not the surfer boys, they're doing a great job, but we needed to connect with the women who are fetching the water. Yeah.
Well, what they were used to doing was going into the villages and saying who's in charge, and who was in charge was usually a man, and second in charge was his son. And so the men would all come in to learn this filtration system, and the women we noticed were outside of the hut. And as women whose mission it was to inspire women who had access to clean water to get it to those that don't, it just immediately did not feel right that the women were outside of the hut. So we said, okay, time out, come on in. And even that shift of the women standing in front of the community was palpable. Like you could just see there was all of a sudden, there was pride and there was like, should I be standing here? And we were like, yeah, you stand right here. You are the ones caring for your village. You are the ones caring for your children. You stand right here, and we're going to stand right next to you, and we're going to teach you, and the men are going to get to watch. And so we realized pretty soon that we were doing things a little bit differently than how they had been done. And that's, I think, really what propelled us to continue listening to the water and continue the Water Bearers, which has now been in 33 countries. Around the world.
Countries. And it's just, I hope you'll join us tomorrow for the workshop at 12 o'clock Central. And we're going to show you how we do it. We're going to show you the magic of the physical. We've already had the spiritual magic that already hit us over the head, that we had to do this. So now we're teaching people the practical. There's no reason why 2 billion people don't have clean water around the world. There is no reason, because we have simple solutions, very simple solutions, and they're just not being utilized. Yeah. So we have to come together. Women have to come together to help share this blessed water that we have, to get it to other women that do not have access to clean water. Think they walk all those miles 3 or 4 times a day, and some of the children are 7 years old, little girls. They can't go to school because they have to fetch water. That's wrong.
And it's been so beautiful to see that when we provide these filtration systems, when we provide, whether it's a borehole, rain catchment system inside of a village, all of the ripple effects that then start to happen. When somebody has access to water that's a few minutes away, no longer is it hours that they're going to fetch the water. Those girls then have an opportunity to be in school where they didn't before. They're no longer cutting down trees because they don't have to boil the water. So there's a whole cascade of ripple effects that happen when you provide somebody with access to clean water. Not only is it the love, because the donations that we get are from the heart. They're inspired by divine sharing, I would say, understanding the blessing of water. So when we show up, we're showing up with everybody who has donated and everybody has given. And those women and those children and even those men, I think, feel it, and they're somehow reborn. They somehow have a different outlook on life from something as simple as water.
And our team, you're looking at our team.
But our team is growing. Look at this team growing around the world, all of you.
But I think our team is every person who donates to the Water Bearers because you become a water bearer. That is your gift to water, to us all.
Yeah. And if nothing else, even if you're not able to donate, it costs $50. That's it for one filtration system that can last 10 years in a village of 100 people. So it's not much. Every drop counts. But even if the monetary isn't something that's available for you to share, it's about the love. So we always, when we leave, we always learn a water blessing, and we always make sure on the buckets that we leave for the love of water.
And we thank Pachamama for the water. When we're with indigenous tribes, always we remind them where water comes from.
So even if it's just you've got a glass of water and you appreciate it and you say thank you as you drink it down today, tonight, this morning, wherever you are, you're becoming a water bear. You're becoming a sacred guardian of the waters and our connection to each other, to all the elements. So we really look forward to being with you tomorrow at 12, sharing more stories. We're going to have a woman named Precious joining us from Zimbabwe, who was the recipient of a borehole a few months back, and has, from that ripple, has planted gardens and now gotten us in touch with other villages. She calls her project Sister to Sister. And we have more sisters in line for water in Zimbabwe. So thank you, Kira and Sri, for having us. Thank you to the water. Thank you to everyone. Peace and blessings.
And
Thank
don't
you.
move. I'm keeping you up here for a minute because I hope that all of you are feeling what I'm feeling right now, which is that this is a project that needs our absolute support. And that the more that we can support this project, the more that we are outreaching with consciousness. This is a project of conscious awareness. These are two incredible women that have championed this on their own since 2015, and it's time they've got a lot more support, don't you think? So I'm just standing up here saying you have my full support. Whatever we can do, you have. And I encourage all of you to really consider, at the very least, be there tomorrow and touch what this does for people. And if you've enjoyed everything that's happened here this weekend, especially with the way the water has been talking, this is a way we can start immediately putting that into action. So thank you both. I'm so grateful.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you so much for the love of water.
Yes.
That's yours.
All right. Oh, I love it.
That's yours.
We have a gift up for the love of water. I love it.
There you go.
All right.
waterbearers.org.
There it is.
Check it out.
And at the homepage of the WWAGLOBAL.com, you can click right through to the fundraiser and get that taken care of and be there tomorrow. All right. How you feeling? I know, really. I don't know. How am I feeling?
You know, before we move on to other things, I just want to pause for a moment on the whole theme of the water once again. I can't tell you how many times in my life I have felt blessed by water, floating on water, drinking water, submerging in water. And as a child, I took it for granted. And as a young man, I didn't pay any attention to it. And as I grew in my maturity and grew in my awakening, I began to recognize what's going on our planet, the pollution of the water, the captiveness of the water, etc. And this water is flow, and flow is consciousness. You cannot separate consciousness and water.
You found your consciousness on water.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I had my first mystical moment out on a sailboat, watching the waves ripple in the sun. And
what he's not sharing is he was single-handing the inside passage, and he had been out alone for how long?
Months.
Yeah. And so there was this gift of the water really pulling you into that state of having to face everything.
Well, and that's why the water is so symbolic of the grander flow and is connected to the grander flow. When you take a look at spaceship Earth from space, you see the blue planet.
You do. You do. You know, it reminds me, and I just feel compelled to share, especially as we're moving into this rising energy on the planet right now, that many of you that have known Shreen and I know that we lived in Guatemala for quite a long time among the indigenous Maya. And I remember so clearly, and I know many of you do, the moment that we had a convergence of a tormenta, a hurricane, a volcano eruption, and an earthquake, and which caused an incredible sinkhole. And I will never forget that day, because in that one moment, 22 people we knew in our village died. The mudslides came down because of the
whole side of the hill, boom.
The schools were gone. And while the water was part of that cleansing, what also happened in that moment was that the wake-up call came that we must take care of the planet. It was because of the overharvesting, it was because of the overgrazing, because of the clear cutting that such a horrible mudslide came into this village. And we are all learning right now. And as that village was cut off from everything, there was nothing, and it was a fairly big village. It was about 2,500
all the
people
roads
stuck.
were covered
Everything
with
was
mud.
gone. It was it was my beloved husband and our water systems, because we had an off-grid property, that we started bringing all of our water systems over there. So we know the critical nature of access to a water filtration system. The fact that we were able to respond within a day prevented a cholera outbreak. How many people didn't die? The fact that we were able to bring in medicines, that we had a boat that literally became the lifeboat, that your generosity, that we reached out to our community, the blankets, the medicines, we were 2 weeks cut off from the world for that village, where literally we became a life raft. And I think of the symbology of being a life raft. And it takes us to so many different ways, doesn't it? Because buoyancy comes from within. There's so many reasons to not be buoyant right now, aren't there? There are so many things you can find to pull you down. If you are looking for a reason to be mad, you will find it. If you are looking for a reason to be afraid, I trust you, you will find more than one. If you are looking for a reason to doubt, to stop, to be in poverty consciousness, it will all be in your face right now.
You are a powerful creator.
Right? So what are you calling in? Yet in this moment, in the flow of the water, as Ganga is so buoyantly in her lotus field energy, one with the beautiful Amazon, the earth is saying, okay, I see that we can come together in equality, in the oneness. Let's breathe in for a moment. Just breathe in and just notice what you notice on that breath. And relax your heart even more. As I'm connecting with all of your hearts, I'm feeling it's almost, how do I want to describe it? It's almost like an anticipatory shimmer. There's this shimmery, like, I don't know if I should be happy or sad, what's coming, what's not coming. I'm so afraid to this. Let that go. I want to invite you right now, just breathe in through your nose, do a deep ave, right? And right? And smile. You just took a breath, smile. That's the gift. We have the choice. Our buoyancy is with each breath. One of the greatest blessings that Sri and I have ever experienced together was the recognition that when you take conscious breath and train it to end with a smile becomes your natural way of being, because we're always breathing, thereby we're always smiling. And so when we have conscious breath and we apply deep conscious breath, regardless of whatever process of breath you're using, remember to smile when you complete it. And you will discover that the breath of buoyancy is your nature. So as we breathe that in right now, I just want to relax us into a moment. And I want to jump into March. Can we do that, Sri?
Absolutely.
All right.
Let's see if we can bring that
Can we
up,
bring
Jess.
up the March slide, Jess, the March up level? And we're working on a system we just put in. Well, what we can also, nope, keep going. Go back. Nope, the March up level calendar. Keep going. There it is. All right, we got it. Now you see some of my other slides, guys, right? That's coming. All right, here's what's important to understand. The March 2021 equinox opened an active ascension window through the equinox, and it is the active presence of this energy that is being amplified right now and will seal in September. Now, if you have the up-level calendar already, you've seen this. But here's what's so powerful about this month and where we are right now. You can see that yesterday we were right there at that peak up-level moment. So in this peak up-level moment, this is one of 4 for the entire year. And this peak up-level moment has sent us into the energy of complete awakened awareness if we choose to be there. And the key is, when you pay attention to this week ahead, look at the 21st through the 27th coming right up on us, you'll notice that once again, this week is all about, where are your words leading you? In the awareness of that which you are, in the awakened awareness, are your words your truth? Are you congruent? This is a week where it's like, are you congruent? I call it conscious congruence, right? To be consciously congruent with all that you are. How would a master walk? How would a master talk? How would a master dress? How would a master be with others? How are you with you? This is that week, because this week is the week where the connections are able to come together and experience the dance of creation. How exciting is that? So this beautiful birth, this beautiful ascension birthing, Jess, you have the ascended numerology for March? I want to show that next. This
on the slide.
you don't. It was on the jump drive. Sri, can you help her for a minute and come right back up? Forgive me, guys, but it's really important. So we can stay there till we find it. I can share without the slide. Remember that with the ascended numerology of this month, on the peak up level date, on the date of yesterday, we went back up into the 12. What does that mean? It means that we're at the very top of the clock, where it's where it all begins. So if you're at that midnight hour moment, what do you want to create through it? What do you want to have happen with it? That is the gift. And in that gift right now, it's all about our star consciousness. And that's why I put this on today, because if not now, when? But the reality, if you want to look at that word, is that in this moment of star consciousness, your solutions are not going to be birthed from density. It's Einstein. Your solutions are just not going to be birthed at the level of consciousness that has created them. And yet everything has conspired in this moment to give us the gift of not having to be concerned about that. And I'm going to have to sit here in silence till we're done, because it's very hard for me to be doing this. So I'm just going to be in silence for a minute. And if we don't have the slide, it's okay. We can just stop looking for it.
The people are seeing it on Zoom.
Okay. I'm glad to hear that. I'm waiting for you to come back up. I can't. Forgive me, everyone, but it's impossible for me to be in this flow with that. So yeah, please come on in and sit. Thank you. You guys know me, right? I won't fake it. So now let's come back to it. All right, there we are. Hey, you did a Spanish lesson up there. That's even better. All right, so with this, it's cut off quite a bit. I don't know why, but can we scroll up and at least see the dates? Yeah. Right here, this is the one I want you guys to pay attention to. Right here is, you will see the equinox peak up level. Remember, this is ascended numerology. The equinox up level, March 20th, brought us into the 12. Now you can scroll back up so we can see everything. As the 6 plus the 6. Okay. The reason that is so important is because what is the 6? Well, in our body, it's our birth center. It's our balance. It's the balance of that which we are creating. So is what you are creating calling forward this creation balance birth of this weekend? And then it double amplified. It's like we got a double hit of balance and went up to the 12. And the 12 is the area of star consciousness. We have the third eye, and then we have star consciousness. The area of star consciousness is the ignition of the mastery presence within. And so we have been amplified and amplified again to be here in this moment of star consciousness. And I know when you look at the clock for this month, it can be like, oh my gosh, like, how could we squeeze any more lines on there, right? It was that kind of a month. But the most important thing to notice are these infinite ones that we have going on here. And I'm not going to make them scroll up and down again. However, what's important to pay attention to is that from this 12, you see this yellow line here? This is where we're going to go on the new moon. So for the next week, everything is in front of you. You're transiting everything. Everything is in front of you to look at, to reweave, to put together, to have fresh ideas about, to break, say, wow, this, it's about looking at everything with fresh eyes and manifesting it, because by the full moon, it's ready. It's ready. It's really ready. And that is bringing us to the spiral flows.
Before we jump away.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. And we've got the camera back. Okay. I just want to speak to something that is important for all of us, whether you are in a male body or a female body or some other kind of body. And that is that the nature of this weekend is one of birthing through the cycles of change. So let's take that in for a moment. This is really important. That energy that in the ascended numerology comes forward as the number 6 relates to the basket of creation.
Second chakra.
Your second chakra is where we let go of old identities and birth a new identity. In the case of the human birth, we are birthing a brand new being. In the case of the cycles of change that we all go through in our lives, we're constantly going through seasons. And this is the chakra that either inspires a fluid, I release and I receive, or decides to be in argument with the greater flow and go, well, but wait a minute, what about yesterday? And so it's really important to acknowledge that this equinox weekend was about releasing old identities, old investments, old hurts, old resentments, old unforgiven judgments, all that jazz, and be available to be impregnated by your highest vision.
Wow, right?
To be inspired by your highest vision. And this is what's coming forward. And as Kira's was sharing, this week that's upon us brings us back to the capacity to know what is true for ourselves. Now, if we're hanging on to old images, how can you be in present time?
Right?
If we're hanging on to old hurts, we're defining everything we experience by a reference point that's outdated old software. It needs to be purged. Control-Alt-Delete moment.
Really? It is that easy.
It is that easy. One portion of forgiveness and another portion of let's move on.
Right.
You know, and so I just want to underscore the power that's in your hands right now. The greater flow upon our planet is one of saying we are rebirthing. A bridge has been opened to next September, and it's up to each of us to go, I will walk with this. I will accept this new energy. I release the past and I embrace the glorious future that is calling me out. It's calling me forward. And now let's bring it back to those words. When we articulate anything, we are giving it power.
Anything.
So you may have this quiet, private vision of something beautiful that you're going to do, create, support. But if your words are saying, well, I don't know, or I'm ashamed to say, I'm reluctant to share, what are you doing to that beautiful energy that's wanting to birth? You're diminishing it. And this is why it's time to be really mindful of the words we choose, because our voice is a creative influence.
Yes.
I command it so. The authority with which you speak has a rippling effect out into the shared universe. And when we share from a place of clarity, we're saying, my heart is aligned with this, whatever the this is, you're giving it life. And when we come from a place of doubt and fear, what are we enlivening? We're expanding doubt and fear. And so these are not new secrets by any means. What my role here today is to remind you of the truth that you already know. Your words are important, forgiveness is important, and trusting what is emerging is critical. Great beauty is all around us. Let's dance with that.
Oh, Sri, I'm just going to breathe that. Let's just breathe that one in for a minute, right? Yeah. I'm loving that because it is. And in that great beauty, it also means what? It means that we have broken free from victim consciousness. And that's the other piece of this incredible moment, is that ability to break free permanently of all victim consciousness. Remember that the victim triangle is the victim, the rescuer, and the abuser. And that those three beings, the victim, the rescuer, and the abuser, are literally the path of density. That is what keeps the third dimension spinning. You see these words salt and peppered all over the world. Every time you see them, all they're doing is spinning the same plate. Just feels better when you're in one roll than another, but the reality is it's all a piece of the same pie. And so it's time to say, I've had enough of that pie, thank you. And to go over here and go, let me try this new pie, right? Let me try the teacher, healer, mentor role. Because we all can transform through that. When we are the teacher, the healer, and the mentor, we also are able to hold our empowerment, our enlightenment without the need to chase or rescue. Each being has the right to their journey. It is not our job to control another's journey, but it doesn't mean you have to agree with them. It doesn't mean that they have a free pass to do whatever. Density has ramifications. What it is saying is that your consciousness has elevated to a moment whereby you are able to sustain a frequency of inspired action that assists you to continue to expand all service without judgment. And this is the moment that we're in right now. We're in a moment where we're all being invited to go beyond our own judgments, because that's the only way we can collectively lift from the 5th to the 7th. In order to sustain a 7th dimensional frequency, you must release the judgments. And oftentimes we're judging ourselves so harshly that we have a hard time staying in any form of ascended presence. Remember, it is our self-compassion that lifts us into 5th dimensional beingness. It is that forgiveness that, and if you've never done Shri's amazing 7-day forgiveness free, go to the website, get it started. Most amazing forgiveness program ever. Because in this moment of concentric dimensionality, the victim triangle is very sophisticated. And you can easily spiritualize your ego and lift up into 5th dimensional states and sustain them for a while, but you won't be able to sustain them forever. And this is why this, if you have the calendar, you've already seen this, but this was what I was shown for this year. And it was a very hard thing for me to create. So hopefully I can help you understand it. Inside of this is that ignited discus of Vishnu that opened on 8/8 Lionsgate 2020. That energy ignition on 8/8/2020 amplified this moment. It was like the universe coming in and saying, hey, we get it. You guys need some extra help. And so it was an amp. And it was an amp specifically directed at the feminine. It was very much about rise lioness. You know, we need the lioness energy to champion this, because the balance, even in a moment where we're all talking about the balances keep getting more imbalanced. So what happened was that as we came in through this ignition energy, when we ignite the framework of support, which is the torus field, we have the ability to stay in the 0 point center. We are the 0 point generator. It's not something, we are the 0 point generator. It's just about sustaining your torus field through steadfast commitment, focused awareness, and complete trust. That is the magic. It's not commitment, it's steadfast commitment. It's not awareness, it is focused awareness. And it's not trust, it is complete trust. And through those 3 things, we hold open the torus field where we become the 0 point generator. And that's what this is. This is the 0 point ignition inside the greater torus field that opened up. And I'm going to go through this slowly, because if I go through it slowly, I know you can wrap around it. So allow your left brain to just kind of relax and have some fun right now. Just consider the potentiality. And so what's happened, and you've probably noticed in your life, full circle events. Everything is full circle. Everything's coming back. Even the Cañari. Alexander, on point, he was sitting right here.
Right here.
He was right here. Even Alexander, who was right here. When we were interviewing him earlier this morning, was talking about the opening of the circles and the dimensions. And we're saying the same thing. Everything the Cañari were saying kind of blew my mind, that they were literally saying what we've had in print now for 6 months. So that was very, very affirming. And concentric dimensionality is a moment where we are at, you were mentioning it earlier, we're at this cross point. And in the way that consciousness expands, because we are ever expanding, we are at a moment where our consciousness itself in this experience of form has already hit where we have been before, but no more. And what that means is that inside of each being right now, which is why you're seeing all this concentric energy around Armageddon and all these people that are trying to call in all these different forms of fundamental experience, because deep within each being right now is a universal wound that you do remember having done this before. Whether you remember it or not, consciously is irrelevant. But deep within you, the reason that the distraction works so well is because it's part of us. We created it. And so this is the moment to invite a true choice into your life. And this is why everything has concentrically come in. And for the first time ever, I'm gonna let you jump in and I'm gonna cut back. For the first time ever, we are in this breath, in this breath, in this breath, in this breath. Our consciousness expands even more. And that's why this is such a dangerous precipice point, because there are not enough of us that remember. Bottom line, there's not enough of us willing to go out on a limb. We are so afraid of what we think is the establishment. We are so afraid of thinking that's the mainstream that, God forbid, the voice we carry, which is much larger than most people know, and much more awake and intelligent and articulate and educated, that this moment right now, it matters for you to decide who you are. And then just live it. You don't need to pontificate about it. You don't need to go run out in the streets and say, I did it, right? Just be it. It's not about the fanfare. It's about just living it. That's all that happens here at Tosa Blue Mountain. Sri and I just moved here and said, we're just going to live it. Come what may. Like us, not like us, that's irrelevant, because that's not what matters. What matters is not wavering in the truth of the mastery presence of that which you are. You know, earlier this morning, I just want to close by sharing one thing. Earlier this morning, I mentioned to you that my beloved ZADOK OSIRIS is here with us. And I'll share a secret with you. When I was invited to uplevel myself, when I was at my own moment of incredible, am I insane or not insane? What is going on? I bow before the one who offered me the affirmation, because we must each hold that for each other. We must each hold that for the other. When we each stand in our truth, no matter what, we wear what we want to wear. We listen to what we're being told. We pay attention to who we are. We love the fact that we are here and that we know ego is the greatest illusion of all, right? When we say yes to our mastery presence, then we free everyone around us to do the same thing. So thank you for freeing me. And thank all of you for freeing yourselves.
Yes.
Because that's what this moment is about right now. It's about a point of freedom that we have never collectively attained before. Are we close to a moment of implosion? Yes. So why talk about it? I mean, really, I have zero time. Those around me know it. You know, it's not that I'm a bitch. It's just I have zero time for that. Why would I sit around and talk to you about conspiracy and things that are negative and things that are going to ruin the planet and why this one's doing that one to that one? Honest to goodness, find somebody else to talk to that about. But if you want to talk about how we can make this thing amazing and how we can co-create, I'll give you 24/7. That's the commitment each of us needs to make to ourselves. What's got your inspiration flowing? What has really got your attention? What if you knew for a fact that we only had these next 9 months? What wouldn't you do? What wouldn't you do? Because that's where I'm at. There isn't anything I won't do to make sure that my children's children have a planet, that they can drink water, that they get to see an elephant, that they get to know what a polar bear looked like, that it got to sustain itself. This is our moment. This is our moment.
Absolutely.
Right?
You know, one of the things that
I'm giving my husband a moment because I need water.
There you go. One of the things that arises in me as I listen to my beloved share her heart is that we have theoretically clay feet, meaning that we were born of the earth, but it's our vessel that was born of the earth. Our spirit, our soul is an infusion. We are in sacred union with these bodies. And one of the things that I want to remind you is how many of you have ever been walking somewhere, you know, I need to go from here to there, whatever the there is, and you bump your knee or your shin, right? And you go, ow. And then you get started going over there, and guess what you do? You bump it again. You ever done that? Have you ever noticed that the moment you injure yourself, you tend to hit it again? Okay, the reason I share that with you is what is needed in that moment or between the injuries. And my response to what is needed is we need to breathe, love, and become present. Whenever we have a little owie, a little accident, it's a way of calling us into presence, is it not? It's a way of saying, hey, the way you were proceeding is not fully conscious. So let's breathe. I need a hug, owie, my body hurts. Let me come into present time. Okay, now I collect myself and I move forward wherever I'm called to be. Well, then the reason I share that with you is that's a very day-to-day understanding of how we move through life. What about as a collective? Kira brought up that humanity has hit a threshold moment where there is this subconscious fear of catastrophe, which is calling catastrophe forward as a self-fulfilling prophecy. That which you resist continues to live, does it not? And so as a species, as a collective, we have gone through the creation and the destruction of worlds. And on this beautiful planet, there have been civilizations that have come and gone. And those memories are deeply embedded in our collective DNA. What is needed? A hug, a pause. We don't have to repeat this the same way. What is needed is a lifting of awareness when we step out of the autopilot and instead take a look at the bigger map that we're flying over, to be able to love each other, to pause and say, we can do this. We do not need to repeat that which we were afraid of doing. We are only needing, second chakra, remember we talked about, to forgive the past, forget the past, because it's past, it's gone. We don't need to keep throwing it up in the future and say, I want to relive it. Let it be, collect the wisdom and move forward. There's a bumper sticker, collect the wisdom and move forward. The past is just that. It is past. And we are still here. We are here because the soon to be now is calling us. There is only now and the soon to be now. So, beloved ones, as we are as a collective looking at the issues in our world and looking at the issues in our families, it's important to remember the universal healing element for all situations is to lift one's consciousness. As we gain in perspective, and we can refer to that as moving into fifth dimensional or seven dimensional realities. And some people go, I get it. And other people go, no, now you're confusing me. How about we just remember, as a child, when you sat in the back seat of the car and you looked out of the window and you looked down on the road, it would make you nauseous. Zoom, 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 zoom. But the moment you lifted your gaze and all of a sudden now the signposts are going by and you lift your gaze a little higher and you're seeing the panorama of the world. But you go back down, zoom, zoom, zoom. It's unsettling. That is a perfect metaphor for what happens as we lift our consciousness. We are able to take in the greater vista and we appreciate it. And from the greater vista, we then can make better choices. A better choice is one that has harmony, not just a reaction. That has harmony, is my needs, the needs of all, the needs of the planet. And we must lift in order to do that. One of the things in my life that I value so much is understanding levels of consciousness. I have been tracking this for more than 20 years. One of my teachers, David Hawkins, initiated this into me, and I have been expanding on his work and looking at the role of the ego as it interfaces with your vibrational rate. And there is a whole scale that David Hawkins didn't address, which is called ego governance. This are my words. This is what I'm writing about. Vibrational rate will lift as long as fear is released. You don't have to work for it. Try that on. Your ascension, your enlightenment is guaranteed. Or as the Buddha said, once you heard about nirvana, you will ultimately find it. You are guaranteed to be the enlightened being. So why wait? Why hold on to your fears and doubts? What are they giving you other than practice of contraction? And if you want to practice more, go for it. You're a divine creator. You can practice with fear and doubt if you like. However, this ego governance issue, many people say, I choose love, I choose to lift, but their ego is saying, I need to control what it looks like. I need to control how it is. I'm worried about what people will think of me. I'm afraid of other people's judgments. Wow. Cancel that. What people think of me is none of my business. Have your thoughts. What I think of myself, and I invite you to try this on, is I am a divine, powerful, loving being here to serve. And you can fill in the blank on how you're serving. To serve the awakening, to serve the expansion of love, to serve the expanding harmony that is fully present and available to be expanded on this planet now. Sometimes I feel like when we share, we're a little bit like that Sunday preacher who is wanting to say, now believe me, I'll speak it a little louder, believe me. You believe it yet? Well, I'll say it even louder. I don't want to say it louder. I just want to invite, I want to invite each and every one of you to take a hand to your heart and just take a breath. I am conscious and I am grateful. Let's do it again. I am conscious.
I am conscious.
And I am grateful.
I am grateful.
From there, you will be guided. It really isn't hard. And when fear arises, it's a call to bring a hand to the heart and to take a breath and to affirm, I am conscious. I am grateful. And this fear has no bearing on my life nor my choices. It's just a little passing environmental thing. Yes. And so, beloveds, we are at a grand time. And coming back to the ascended numerology and the calendar, we are at a time where these cycles are revisiting us, and we get to see them and experience them from a higher level of consciousness than before. How many of you have noticed in your lives that there are these synchronicity occurrences, that you visited things that you thought you were done with, but you're visiting them from a whole new relationship, or that people's paths have crossed in a way that suddenly the spark is there, that I know we're here to co-create versus, hi, how you doing, bye-bye. And that's what is going on here in the spiral time, is that we ride the energy of a month and bring it into the center. And then as the 1 month is releasing, the next month is rising. And we have the ever-present figure 8. The ever-present figure 8, the spiral dimensions, the infinite, ever expanding, but always intersecting in the center. The torus field that is your energy body. Many people can't see it, but you can trust this. There is a center point and the energy goes out like a giant donut, right? So what happens when you begin to feel this circulation? We begin to recognize that every thought, every declaration that comes out of our mouth goes out and comes right back in. And that's the old adage of, you point your finger at someone while you're also judging yourself at the same time. Whatever we declare for another, we will receive back unto ourselves. That is the way the energy works. And that reminds me, while we're here, while I have your attention, April 12th, we are beginning a whole new series, Monday nights. We call it Monday Magic, and it is the I Am series from the I Am books from Godfrey Ray King and the beloved Saint Germain. We're going to be unpacking that page by page, declaration by declaration, because the I Am books are truly the Course in Miracles for this time. So join us. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to sriankara.com, go click on the events. You're going to find a little right up there, and just allow yourself to be brave. Say yes, click, join, because we are experiencing magic every Monday night. The community that gathers is powerful, and you will feel the difference in your life. All right, my love.
Would you like me to join you?
Come on up.
All right, I'm just waiting for the signal, baby. All right, there we are. Thank you. All right. Well, first and foremost, let's all just take in a breath, shall we? Yeah, let's just clear in. And I do want to affirm that what's happening in April is really the natural evolution of this spiral event, which is why that's happening. So let me explain a little bit more. Those of you that have been tracking, see the January, and then we have the February, the March, the April. We are coming up to something that is really going to be kind of a jet fuel for 2021, and that's going to be this first May gate. You see that? There are 3 gates opening this year, and these gates have not opened before. And what they are is part of this amplitude. And the reason that it is so important that we are all working with this right here, January, February, March, April, forgive me for having to stand in front of the projector, is that this is the cross of perfect balance, these first 4 months, January, February, March, April. These are the ones that have called forward and ignited this I. And the I is essentially the awakening presence that is outside of the realm of density. And I know that can be kind of challenging the first time you ever see it. Just let's put up the, let's go back. Yeah, there it is. Let's put on that one. So let's talk about what all this means, because it's leading us to where the planet is right now. We're at a moment where there is an alchemy that is arising out of all of us. We are each the alchemist. We all have the opportunity to do that. And this is the gift of sacred union. This is what we've been working with in the WWA since 8/8/2020, which is that we have all of these wonderful ways of being. We have the princess, the goddess, the priestess, the queen, the wise woman, the woman, all of the names, all of these little attributes of density that we come up with, and all of these things. What if we could just take all of that and just say, great, right? But it expresses in whatever way it wants to express. And we just let go of all sense of that and dive into that cosmic center whereby we become the 0 point energy. Well, how do we do that in form? It begins with the first, second, and third chakra of the human body, stabilizing as peace, stabilizing as love, and stabilizing as joy. And if you consider that this is first chakra, second chakra, third chakra, where have we been this entire month? We've been right here. It's been all about love. It's been all about love. We're at the moment right now where words like love are actually coming out of the mainstream again. I'd say that's a pretty positive shift. Words like dream, words like carry inclusiveness are starting to be seen again. That's a shift. It's not enough, but it's a shift.
It's a good start.
It's the best shift ever, right? It's the best start ever. And so when we see that, what we have to be careful of is the erosion of the joy, because that's how you collapse the alchemy. When you erode the joy, you collapse the alchemy. One of the things that early on, Shri and I were very gifted with when all of this information was blessed through us, was that it was so powerful that until you are stabilized in peace and until you are stabilized in joy, love cannot exist. Love is not a singular element. When love exists as a singularity, it is out of balance. And I want you to breathe that in. I know that can be expanding. Love as a singularity in density is often out of balance. How many really loving people do you know that are constantly in trouble? How many really loving people do you know are totally broken? They're the kindest person in the world, the most beautiful person in the world, but they just can't seem to take care of themselves. You know, they're the most giving, wonderful person in the world, but they're miserable, right? Or their life is a mess. There's just one little aspect that's good. That's because it's all 3 together. There is the peace that foundationalizes true love. Because true love carries with it, it's in the Bhagavad Gita, right? You are not swayed, no matter what happens, you can't be swayed. It's the greatest thing on the planet, it's the worst thing that's ever happened, you are you. You are you. That's the peace that ignites that true love to express, that thereby offers a joy that is not tied to an emotional component. How many times have you been really, really happy? I mean, like joy-filled, joy-filled, joy-filled. And you run up and you talk to somebody and you tell them all this wonderful news and you feel so inspired and you feel so amazing. And what's the first thing they might do? You're crazy. I have a pill for that. Right? You must be kidding me. You know, oh, let me tell you why we need to talk.
Well, you obviously
right?
you haven't thought about
Yeah,
blah,
and
blah, blah.
let me tell you why I think why your happiness is a bad idea. We all know that's called partners in pain. And partners in pain are frequently your family and your best friends. Because until you wake up, your circle consists of your level of consciousness. You call to you the level of consciousness that you carry. All you have to do is look at those around you to model to see what your level of consciousness is. And when you're ready for an up level, or when you're ready for a lateral spin, or when you're ready to dive back in for a while, your circle reflects that. So if you want to look at your consciousness, look at the circle around you. You want to change the circle around you, lift your consciousness. They're not doing anything wrong. This isn't positionality. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to do to help you remember who you are. Every single being is in the alchemical process of their own miracle alignment. And as they do that, the 4 steps of self-ascension, and they're in no order. They're in no order. They're just always, it's an ever refining spiral, right? It's an ever refining spiral. Be in union with the self. That is the full acknowledgement of the blessing of the temple of the body in union with the mastery presence. Because when we can stabilize the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd chakras as peace, love, and joy, our heart explodes in ascended awareness. It becomes the foundation of our ascended presence. And then you have this incredible ascended presence anchored at the heart that's constantly infusing the body. And the body's constantly rejuvenating, constantly receiving new energy, constantly being inspired, constantly creating. But it demands 1st, 2nd, and 3rd being really happy and about a high level of trust of the 2 as one, be in union. Release judgment of yourself. Start there. Start there. You ever second guess yourself? You ever just do something you feel great and then suddenly you're like, or whatever, right? You got to release judgment. You will never be able to release judgment of another until you release judgment of yourself. It will just be words. It'll mean nothing. You'll say you forgive. You'll say you're not judging, but you're not. You're lying to yourself. We lie to ourselves all the time. It's what we do until we can look in the mirror and realize the only thing we have in common with everything in our lives is us, right? It's you. You're the common denominator. And I love sharing this that you guys know I was married 5 times. Sri is my 5th husband. And it's a great number. Mastery, presence, eternal life, right? 5. But the only thing I had in common up until my 5th husband was the me that was calling in that energy. And I'll never forget the day that I was like, you know what? I really get it. It's me. I really get it that there is this energy that needs to really pay attention. And it's in those moments where we can laugh and see. Doesn't mean that we get away with anything. There's amends, you make amends. There's things that need to happen, you do them. But you're doing them from a level of consciousness that's carrying a freedom rather than a judgment. And so releasing judgment is massive, especially of the self. Unconditional love, you know where it begins, right? You, right? Unconditional love beginning with you. And then, of course, surrender. And that begins with surrendering what surrender looks like. How many times do we judge that? We try to cut deals with God. You ever cut a deal with God? Everybody cuts deals with God at some point, right? Yeah. God, please, right?
If you do this, I'll do that.
I promise, right? So you surrender what surrender looks like. We have so many preconceptions, and the more that we really stay in the harmonious presence of our divine being, the more that we are in that ever-refining spiral. You can't ever mess it up. You know, one of the things that happened during my near-death experience was when I had the blessing and was very consciously aware of being on this, what felt like a lotus to me. And all of us, it was so incomprehensible almost, but there was this like crystalline rays coming out of hearts. And it went every single heart. It was just this massive spiraling, and every single being, every single aspect. It was completely infinite. It was like surreal. And in that moment, what was right in front of me was this massive swirling energy. And what I was witnessing before I had the blessing of being called in was that we're always spiraling around this same thing constantly. We're always there. You're always there. You can't mess this up. Nothing is going to take you out of it. There's just times you're out here, and then there's times you're in here. But you're in this constant alchemical matrix, terrible word, but constant alchemical experience that allows you to absolutely know the oneness of all. We are all one. And when we have those moments, and we have them more than once, we have them frequently, where we actually, it's like, the only way I can describe it was like an invitation. It's like where you're like, suddenly you're spiraling, and then you're in the middle of this incredible energy. And in my experience, the first thing I saw was everything. It wasn't Jesus, it wasn't relatives, it wasn't any of that. It was literally the Godhead in all forms. In all forms, very much like in the Gita, when Arjuna says, please show me, it was very similar to that. And in the knowing of our infinite presence, in the knowing of this moment right now, the planet herself is going into a state of self-ascended awareness. So what does that really mean? And we can turn off the slide, Jess, that's okay. So what that really means is that all of the chakras of the planet right now are moving into their infinite presence. And this is why the planet is shifting. The planet is shifting because she has to shift. It's a cyclical. We are cyclical. Are not feminine beings cyclical? We are probably the most cyclical beings on the planet. We're very much about cycles. We are entering a cycle in this planet where the energy of the planet herself is transcending above density. And so for many, that's very difficult to understand or even work with because it feels so unfamiliar. It's like, it's where the questions come out like, how can this possibly be? How can things be getting so crazy? How can that possibly evolve? Why is this happening there? Why is that happening there? Because the planet herself is shifting into another frequency and not everyone can feel it. And what that means is very similar, and I'm sorry, I don't have the graphics, very similar to the self-ascended chakras. When our chakras move from the orbital energy into, I put one up here, into the infinite sign, when they move into the infinite presence, it means that we have the opportunity to expand beyond our own sense of expansion. And this is why the next moment ahead, March to September is so critical because things are rapidly amplifying and they're going to amplify so quickly. And here's the gift. Steadfast commitment, focused awareness, whatever you are sincerely ready to birth right now is going to birth, get ready. You're going to have quintuplets. I mean, if you are ready to birth something, hold on. It's going to be beyond your wildest dreams, but there's a caveat. You've got to really stay outside of what's going to try to pull you back because everything is amplifying. And so you're going to be challenged. And the gift is if you stay in the zone of the amplification, then the greatest work ever will be done on the planet during these next few months. We have an opportunity to make a difference the way we've never, and I'm talking about the collective make a difference. Yeah.
One of the things I want to remind you of is we live in a quantum reality. And there is no such thing as linear time. That is an imposition. That's a creation we made. And if you want to play with this, you can imagine your timeline and there's the past, the present, and future. Well, what if you just wrap that around as a circle and stand in the center and you gaze at past and future from the calm center? You have that ability because that is your nature. Time is experiencing inside of you, not outside of you. Yeah. And so as we are in this moment of March through September, right now, 2021, we are in a quantum creative reality that if to whatever extent you can release the doubt and declare the vision, the truth of the expanded harmonious state of being, state of planet, state of universe, that in your heart you know would bring you joy. We will then send that out as a creative ripple that calls forth the experience of it, as opposed to sending out a reactive ripple based upon an outdated experience.
So let's feel that. So if you're at home right now, and if you're here and you want to, let's stand up and let's pull in some living Ankh energy. And I want to talk about the Kundalini, the ascended Kundalini. We're going to need a little more space for each other. And so in order to do the living Ankh, I can move over here.
We're good.
Okay, in order to do the living Ankh, the first thing you want to do is you want to have your feet, you want to be standing optimally, and you want to have your feet shoulder width. So just have your feet shoulder width apart. There you go. And with the living Ankh, the first thing we want to do is really feel, just really feel into your feet. Remember that all healing begins at the feet. And so let's really look at those beautiful feet right now. And just relax your breath. Really feel your feet anchoring. And begin to notice under your left foot, just begin to imagine, pretend, feel, be with a beautiful ball of crystalline light. Just right at the bottom of your foot. Just feel it tickling your foot. Just right there at the bottom of your foot. And underneath your right foot, you're gonna do the same thing with this beautiful gold ball of light. And just feel those energies tickling your feet. Keep it right there. There it is. Still lifting you and tickling you. And then as you breathe in, we're gonna bring those energies up right to the base of the spine. Just breathe it right up your legs and keep it right there at the base of your spine. Right there, that first chakra. Just feel that beautiful gold and crystalline energy illuminating your legs. And now on the next in-breath, I want you to feel those energies spiraling together. And we're going to breathe them all the way up and let it come right out of your crown. And now we're going to take our arms and we're going to stretch them all the way out of our shoulders. We're going to literally become the living Ankh. If you can, you want to push your hands back as far as you can. Let the heart come forward. Let the head go back. And feel this radiance of emerald light showering from the healing presence of Archangel Raphael, entering your heart, coming out through your hands, unified with that golden white light, offering you this illuminated presence of eternal energy. It's literally recharging all that is inside, feeling that gift, receive, receive, receive. Take in a deep breath. And let's bring those arms straight out all the way around. We're scooping and we're going to bring it right around and we're going to really say thank you and receive this gift. Bringing our hands to prayer position. I'm going to invite you to turn and face someone. Everyone turn and face someone. Everyone turn and face someone. Who needs someone to face here? No, we have right here. Here's a third.
Paul and,
there we go. No, Paul's facing over here.
Okay.
Jane needs somebody. You can be with Jane. There we go. Everybody's facing someone. All right, right now, I want you to bring your eyes to what's known as star consciousness. It's the area right above the third eye, about an inch above the third eye. And just gaze there in this moment and receive the energy of the cosmic star presence. You're going to want to be closer. And so gaze at that star presence. Feel that star presence connecting. There it is. And in just a moment, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, just feel and be. Just feel, receive. Notice what you're noticing. And in just a moment, we're going to invite you to open your eyes, not yet. And when you do, I invite you to take a moment and greet each other star to star. Just greet the person in front of you, star to star. Take in a breath, exhale, and greet each other star to star. Just receive, just receive. And now take in a breath. And if you're called to say thank you, hugs are always amazing. Got a lot of them going on here. A lot of hugs going on here. I'm hugging all of you at home. I'm loving this star practice with all of you. If I could turn the camera, I would. You should see this beautiful room right here. Imagine every day greeting everyone that way. Yeah. A lot of beautiful sharing going on behind the camera here right now. Think about the star consciousness. It's a direct gateway to your fifth dimensional presence. Think about when His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the greatest, absolute, beautiful experience of fifth dimensional presence, compassion. Compassion is the gateway to the fifth dimension. This beautiful man, his entire life has been walking around in this fifth dimensional presence. And when he greets you, it's star to star. It's star to star. And so imagine a world where we're greeting each other star to star, where we see the truth of who we are, without any illusions, without any need for the words that can make such a clutter out of that which we are truly trying to share. That is the moment we are in right now. This ascended Kundalini. I'm not going to talk about traditional Kundalini, so I'm just going to assume that many of you know about that. If you don't, please Google it and learn about it. But the ascended Kundalini recently opened. And with that energy has come forth an opportunity for all to reclaim their life experience in any way that they are choosing, with one caveat: if it does not serve the highest, it doesn't manifest. So there is kind of a safety catch on it. So while we are always considering, for the highest, the way it manifests, you will see. So in this moment, the ascended Kundalini is saying, it's like, the way I describe it is, it's like a wing of feathers. It's like this beautiful spiral of feathers that's just lifting you up again, that is awakening the higher chakras, that is awakening more to the awakening potentiality, that is inviting a greater experience of consciousness into all that is. And this ascended Kundalini does have some interesting ascension symptomology that comes with it. There is quite a bit of it. And one of the greatest gifts that comes through the awakening of this ascended Kundalini is that we are offering to ourselves a gateway to the greatest expansion we could ever co-create. So I want you to breathe that in. Yeah, I just really feel that. So before we go any further, I just want to, I'm just going to open it up over at Zoom if there are any questions, or if any of you have any questions here before we go any further. We're good at Zoom? No Q&A? Okay.
I have a question, but I have a statement.
Please.
Thank you for such illuminating, beautiful messages.
Thank you. Thank you for receiving. We are grateful.
I received.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's time for us to remember we are more than that which we thought we were. We are more than the body. We are more than our childhood. We're more than our adulthood. We are infinitely expanding. And oftentimes our thoughts keep our energy focused on a static picture. This is my identity. This is what I dress. This is what I work, all of that. And that's fine until you're complete with it.
Yeah.
Because this ascended Kundalini, the traditional Kundalini, the teaching, the yogic teaching, and it is a reality, is that there is a quiet energy in the root chakra that when the time is right, when circumstances are appropriate, it will lift up the spine and activate the upper chakras and open your eyes in ways that you didn't know.
Exactly.
That's only step one.
Yeah, we're at the next wave.
That's step one. And people are going, that's it. That's all there is.
That's step one.
The one thing I can tell you with certainty in this expanding universe, there's always more.
Oh, yes.
Always more.
And it's so awesome.
And so the ascended Kundalini will take you further as we relax and release our need to control. And this comes back to the 4 steps of self-ascension. Release judgment. How can you release judgment if you haven't activated love? And the one thing, this was a tough lesson in my life. I went through a period where I was judging myself so harshly. And you can't judge yourself without judging others.
Right.
There comes a moment where you go, just stop judging me. Okay, I'll judge them. We project our hurt out on the world and we judge others. And I began to realize, this was my own healing process, and it was an active healing work, that if I brought love to my judgments, they would soften into wisdom.
Yes.
Into discernment.
Exactly.
Discernment is a noticing of what is without needing to judge it, without needing to say that shouldn't be and that should be. It's just a discernment that when circumstances create this and other circumstances create that, and I love it all. It's all part of the magic. That is the gateway to the ascended state. When your thoughts are viewed with love, we become a contributor to the peace. And we bring wisdom forward to help guide those that are ready to be guided. When we are in judgment, what is really happening is it's like a childish state. Judgment arises because we care. We care. Only we haven't tuned into our caring as much as we've tuned into the critical mind. And this is why the love is so critical. As we bring the love is, we anchor it to the heart. Our thoughts then, if they have any edge to them, they can quickly be softened and released. So the 4 steps to living in the ascended state of being: release judgment, unconditional love, surrender. You know, these things kind of work together. We can't really surrender if we're judging, can we? Yet when we soften judgment, we might not surrender because we're trying to hang on. We're trying to control. Surrender means release expectations also. An expectation is a future judgment. That's all it is. And so I wanted to come back to this because it's so essential for our time and for our personal peace. Unconditional love, be in union, meaning no more resistance. Be in union with your body, be in union with this world, be in union with each other, be in union with the divine. Release judgment, surrender. And they keep cycling, and we keep getting better at it. This isn't a do it once and you're done kind of thing. It's true. Our nature is that we will keep needing to choose. We keep needing to re-up, to surrender more, to love more, to release the need to control more. And this Kundalini and this opportunity that's on this planet, it's happening. The question is, will you allow it to happen through you? Or will you simply engage it as a concept? And this is the call upon all of us. It's time to get off your ass. Time to get off the couch and be in the flow of the creative process. This is where passionate action comes forward.
Absolutely.
Activism is a refined judgment. It has heart. It has heart, but it's a refined judgment. It usually carries a fair amount of anger and right and wrong. Passionate action says, I know what I'm to do, and it brings me joy to do it. And you go do it. That's passion. It comes from here. Calm passion is co-created love. Passion is your nature. Do you think you were created out of judgment? You were created out of passion. A passion to exist. Anyway, I'm just so delighted that we are together celebrating the equinox, the emergence of this ascended Kundalini, and what is happening on our planet with the Kundalini of the planet moving here into this continent.
Well, let's talk about that, because as we're coming to this closure moment today, this is an ignition moment, is it not? And the reason it's such an ignition moment is because of exactly that let's go back, let's go all the way back, right? Let's go all the way back just to 2012. A time when so many were just repeating so many out and out lies about my beautiful Mayan brethren. And just so many were cashing in, and it was all about who could get famous and who could do what, while the Maya themselves were sitting there and circled us going, please tell our truth. And the truth was that they were talking about this moment. They had foreseen when it would be the turbulent times, but they would never say they had forecasted the end of times. And in 2012, something did happen. Was that the Himalayan shift, the energy of the Kundalini, that the spiritual Kundalini, this serpiente, right? This snake-like energy, as we often see it in our healing, caduceus and things of that nature, that energy did move. It was the first sign that the planet was preparing. And now here we are, almost 10 years later, right? And we are in this moment of concentric dimensionality that is saying, look, that Kundalini shift destabilized your planet's spiritual energy. Right now, we have so many spiritual competitors. Competition is the greatest illusion of all. When we are in the moment of our divine empowerment, everything is a celebration, especially our neighbor's success. When we believe in competition, we destroy ourselves. When we compare ourselves to another, we destroy all that we are.
Compare is to kill.
Right? All we're doing is saying, I'm not measuring up to whose yardstick. What if the yardstick's inside of you? What if the moment right now, what if this rising Kundalini that's saying, remember, the first Kundalini is very much about the physical body and its expression. And the next energy is right now that this ascended Kundalini begins in the ascended heart. Not in the physical heart, in the ascended heart. Because that's the heart that ignites the double ignition of our own 0-point energy generator, whereby the law of instantaneous manifestation ignites. It's who we are. Everything you've ever thought was fantastical or magical or whatever is just who you are. All myths are born out of the creation of the shadows of the truth that you're afraid to remember. What if remembering was the greatest gift you could give yourself? What if you could dance every night with the truth of that which is? That's what the Ascended Kundalini is offering you. But the Ascended Kundalini is not an easy activation. It's taken me over a year to really activate it. And with every moment of activation, there have been some fascinating journeys. Because to carry the consciousness of multidimensional presence and full cognizance of your physical body is not yet a friendly space on Mother Gaia. That's why Tosa Blue Mountain was born, so that people can come here and live like this. I often say I live in my wonderful prison, because here the energy is so high and so pure, and the wind that's blowing right now, and the breezes that we're smelling right now, and the purity of the people that we get to live with reminds us that all is not lost. As a matter of fact, all is beginning again. How do you want it to look? Do you want to dive into the fact that it's going to look like a nightmare? Then dive. And as Archangel Zadkiel would say, do it well. If you're going to have the nightmare, then have one hell of a nightmare. I mean, go in and do it well, right? And that's Zadkiel. Zadkiel was the first one that says, look, make your choice, but do it well, right? What is your choice? Because the other thing Zadkiel always says, and this is Zadkiel, if you sit on the fence, you're going to get a crotch burn, and that hurts. And so do you want to sit on the fence?
Take action.
That's it. And so at this moment, everything, especially the energy of the planet, is calling out for balance. And that's where the shield was born. Remember that the cross of perfect balance is an equilateral cross, but in the center is the jewel. It is the jewel of your heart. It is the jewel of your consciousness. And the consciousness right now is the reason the battle is here, because we are at such a profound moment. This is a moment unlike any other. And all of us who are aware of it get to dance, get to create, and get to sustain the expansion. And for every one of those that you think is pulling you away, perhaps next time you can wrap your arms around yourself and thank them for loving you enough to do their job so perfectly that you know exactly who you are. That the next time your joy is so ecstatic, you are able to sustain it in the face of the one who would seek to take it, the partner in pain. Love them, they know not what they do. Forgive them, they know not what they do. When you can own the essence of that, nothing will stop you. Nothing. And so, beloved ones, nothing is stopping this. And this is why in April, please join us as we ignite the grid of illumination. February, March, April. Remember, this was a 3-month cycle. And in this March moment right now, we are in the awareness. Come next month, April, we are in the experience of everything that's happening right now. And it's a month full of experience, and it is a month where the grid of illumination is being raised again. And how we're raising that, and all of you are already participating, is that many of you know the story of the miracle book that we have right up in our studio. It was, Sri and I were living, the quick version, we were living in New Mexico. We came home from Albuquerque into our locked home, unlocking the door, and we had a beautiful little adobe home. We walk in, pellet stove going, I still remember that.
Yeah.
Pellet stove is going, we walk in, and right there in front of us was that I Am Discourses book, original, signed by Godfrey Rain King himself.
Green hardback book from
1936.
1936 was sitting on our table. Just appeared.
2003. And filled with all of the notes and little, there's interesting things and fabulous. And as many of you know, we've been showing it over the years, it's now disintegrating. We've been doing our best, but we realized as it was disintegrating, there was a moment where I really thought it was disintegrating because it was moving on to its next teacher. And then I held it, this was shortly after, well, many of you know, and we realized it was because we haven't taught it yet. And that if we didn't teach from it, the grid of illumination, and that's why it had been given to us. And so we have asked around the world, and you're all doing it. The other message we got was to save these books. And so all around the world, all of you are buying these books. We are all getting all the original copies we can. Many of you are sending us pictures of books you have found with Godfrey Rain King in them as well. We are trying to save these books in the hands of those that understand what these books are. And starting on April 12th, that's Monday Magic, which you all know you can get in for as little as $1, and it's 100% donations to Clinica Linda and to the water bearers. So please donate. Starting on Mondays, Monday, April 12th, we will be teaching from that book. We have no idea what it's going to look like other than we are complete trust of what Saint Germain has asked. We will not be going through it from one to the end. We are going to be honoring exactly what we are asked to do. And for all of you that have got the book, please make sure you're sending us your picture because we are starting the grid of illumination around the world. And so far we have so many of your pictures and appreciate that. So if you have not connected with us yet, if your friends don't know about it yet, help us spread the word. Remember, you can join for as little as $1. Be there Monday nights. And those of you that are part of our Monday Magic community, you know the power of that, the positivity. Every Monday night, it's a fellowship of coming together, of positive community, the friendships that are in there, the families that are in there, the love that we're sharing. And hey, tomorrow night, we still have 2 left on Living an Ascended Life. So along with teaching quantum clairvoyance in a workshop tomorrow, I'm also going to be with my beloved husband at Monday Magic tomorrow night. So it's another big moment ahead of us. You are the magic. We are the magic. And Sri, I would like to culminate today with the magic of all of the beings that have made this festival possible. What is your thought?
Well, there are so many people to honor.
There are. So I'm going to let you start sharing a little bit while I round some of them up.
Okay.
All right.
And before we move into that closure and appreciative moment, I just want to remind each and every one of you that every breath is a choice. I can choose love, or I can choose something else.
We have Q&A.
Okay.
So I think
we choose to take a look at the Q&A.
We have Q&A. All right. Forgive me, everyone. We're doing your Q&A.
All right. Let's say hi.
Let's say hi. So go ahead, Jess.
Astaria Serafina. Namaste, beloved Sri and Kira.
Hi, Astaria.
Thank you for this beautiful WWA. We love you. Can you please expand upon what happens if there is no joy, therefore no alchemy? Does that mean no alignment with another being any longer in the ascended Kundalini energy? Namaste.
Would you like to begin, Sri?
The absence of joy is the absence of fullness. We can exist, but we do not thrive. And so each of us has a moment sometimes where we want to cultivate the discernment that comes from experiencing something other than the fullness. Now, I don't know if you consider that an oblique answer.
I'm going to jump in with one too.
However, one of the ways we cultivate our consciousness is through the discernment of contrast. We experience lack, so we understand fullness. We experience love, so we understand fear, and vice versa. We experience perceived separation so that we can have the joy of the unity. Every one of these experiences cultivates the embrace of who we are at our essence. And as we let go of the need to entangle ourselves with those experiences, we lift, lift, and lift.
I love that. I really love that. And Monica, Monica, Astaria, I just want to share this with you, sweetheart. If the joy is not there and you're aware of it, then you stop right there. And that's what you deal with. Let go of thinking it's connecting you to someone else. Let go of it being about anything else other than, where is my joy? And then follow that and source that. Because reclaiming your joy is the most important moment at hand. It's peace, it's love, it's joy. Our joy is tied to our third chakra. Our joy is our balance, right? It's our place of balance. It's our power, our center of power,
everything.
right? And so if our joy is missing, we are collapsed. If our joy is here, we thrive. Thank you for asking, sweetheart. Jess?
Julie, if Mother Earth is ascending, is it still too unstable to ground into her? If
Yes.
not, what would be proper?
Okay, well, first of all, thank you for asking. And here's the key. It was back, I had to be on the other side of you. I feel so off balance. Thank you. I feel so much better now. We are at a moment whereby, with what's happening on the planet, this has been going on. Remember, Sri and I first started talking about this way back when in 2004, when it was very clear that the planet herself was full. She's full. This is like a mother that's got so many children going, God, one of you grow up and help me. I mean, seriously, right? And so our beloved mother Gaia, we're dumping, we're throwing, we're doing, we're abusing. I mean, how much more can she take? She's literally regurgitating. She's trying to take care of herself, and we keep dumping into her. Throw your cord into Mother Earth. That was fabulous up until the millennium. We're in a new time. You know how hard it is to talk about things in a new time because everybody wants to own what was? But way back when, in the early 2000s, it was clear that we needed to walk with our mother, not on our mother. That we needed to stop throwing our own garbage into her and anchor our ascended presence. This is why the container practice was given. If you go to SriandKira.com, it's free, it's all free. Go to SriandKira.com, right there, Yoga of Self-Ascension. Click down on the practices, learn the container practice. Because what's appropriate is when we use the container practice, and this is what the masters have shared, that when we come to the moment where we are demonstrating our responsibility in recycling energy, we will have attained the level of consciousness that will thereby connect us with the expansion that is here now. Ever walk into a room and you feel awful? You walk in and go, whoa, what's happening in here? Right? Or you walk in after some people have been there and went, oh, whoa, I think I'm leaving, right? Or you walk in somewhere and go, I feel amazing. Well, that's all energy, right? We're constantly sloughing off our energy. We're constantly having these engagements and we don't think anything about it. That's what the container practice is for. That's how the planetary thought body has become what it is. Let us not forget that the planetary thought body right now is the complete kahuna of every bit of energy everybody sloughs off. You're walking around sloughing all the time, not thinking anything about it. Totally okay, especially if you're here to experience density. But I go back to the great Krishnamurti. It is when we awake that we are responsible. When you awaken, you are responsible. And that responsibility is because you are seeing that. Until you awaken, forgive them, they know not what they do. Because the level of consciousness, you're invisible to the level of consciousness that cannot see it.
You know,
Right?
I want to offer a practical suggestion for you, Julie, and for all of us. We were taught or invited to send a cord into the earth. Why? Because we were wanting to either release discordant energies, or we were wanting a sense of stability.
And this, I want to interact again. This was totally, absolutely 100% perfect, okay, and great until we hit the great shift around the millennium.
And so take a look at yourself now. If we're requiring some stability, what is it we're really wanting to connect with more fully? It's right here.
Isn't it your heart?
So well, the next time you're feeling a little wobbly, a little uncertain, feeling like I need a boost, I need certainty, I need to be reassured, which we all need. Hand on heart, conscious breaths.
Heart. It's all heart.
This is the center point of the ascended state. This is the foundation.
Yep.
And the earth, let her have her journey. as you have your journey, and we float together.
Maybe it's our time to let our mother know that she can rest, that we've got this, that we're here for her. Yeah, thanks, Julie. Great question. Jess, anything else?
Yeah, anonymous. What is recommended for city dwellers to embrace the energies on a consistent basis versus waiting to go outside the city to finally slow down and be in the energies?
Oh, well, that's a very important question. And I'm so grateful that you asked. Do you want to start, sweetheart?
I've got two practical tips
All
for
right,
you.
go for it.
All right. The first thing is congratulations on asking. That
Yeah,
shows that
thank
your
you.
heart is aroused and you're saying, how do I stay connected? The gift that was given to me years ago that I honor and want to share with you is no matter where you live, there is sky.
Look up.
Look up, look at the clouds, and then look through the clouds, And using your eyes, you can practice this on the inhale. I sip the light, the cosmic light that is beyond the stratosphere, and I call it in. And I let it circulate in me. Sip the light. And you will find yourself renewed, restored, and your worldly Velcro stuff will start to just dissolve away. The other thing is make sure you have a photo of nature, especially a mountain range, high altitude mountains. Have it in your workplace, have it in your home somewhere. And from time to time, gaze at that photo and smile and connect with the energy of those mountains.
Oh, so beautiful. And number one, you're doing a lot of what we would suggest by being here today, right now.
Connect with others.
Exactly. And the other thing that has sustained me always is to remember that everything around you is your temple. So start in your bedroom, sit in your bed and sit up in your bed, look to your left, and then slowly look around your entire bedroom. And you make sure everything your eyes land on brings you joy. You make sure everything makes you smile and radiate, because that's your sacred chamber. And remember, when we sleep at night, our soul doesn't, your spirituality doesn't stop when you're sleeping. And so how is that sacred space? Let your bedroom be your first temple and make sure everything in it brings you joy. And if it doesn't, get it out of there. And then you move into your kitchen, the heart of the home, where you nourish. Whether it's a wall, whether it's a kitchen, whether it doesn't matter. Whatever space you are creating your nourishment in, does it bring you joy? Do you love it? Is it the colors you love? Are you using things that bring you love and joy? Do you have old pans that are dying, or do you have something beautiful to cook in? What brings you joy, and is it set up that way? And then where do you spend most of your time in your home? Wherever that space is it your temple? Is it your temple? And if not, let it be. Also bring in your water. Running water, you need a small fountain. Always have a small water feature. Always have some live plants, and fresh flowers are not just for special occasions. Thank you. Namaste.
Some more?
Sure.
Okay, Carol says, namaste. How do people who are struggling to survive on a day-to-day basis awaken?
Thank you for asking, sweetheart. Do you want to begin?
Yeah. Well, first off, I love you.
Yeah.
And I invite you to bring a hand to your heart and say, I love me. I'm doing the best I know how. And I accept myself just as I am and as I am not. It begins with loving yourself, irrespective of the conditions in which you find yourself. Conditions change. Love is here. And from that place of, in this moment, I trust myself. In this moment, I love myself. I know that I deserve. I know because I took birth here. I deserve the abundance of this planet. And to be practiced breathing that truth in, because there are thoughts that are creating and supporting a reality that is something different than that isn't as pleasant. And we must begin by loving ourselves, by working with our thoughts. And you find that you will awaken through whatever the circumstances were, and actually discover gratitude for those circumstances because they've stimulated the yearning to awaken.
And once you've been stimulated, I'm going to poke you to do something else. And that is you got to get up and you got to do something different. You can't buy into the fact that you're struggling every day. I get it. I was a single mom. I was so broke. I literally, I sold my car, bought a Ford Galaxy 500 at auction because I needed a car. I was living in Phoenix, Arizona in the summer, no air conditioning, and I was as broke as could be. But the passion I had inside of me was that I would let nothing stop me. And I earned my first $1 million 10 months later. And that was because I didn't let anything stop me, because I had this baby. I was living on $2 a week food. So I would go to this really massive co-op and I would buy rice and eggs. I knew how many eggs I could eat a day. And I would show up early at work to eat the donuts because they were free breakfast. I would show up to use their bathroom because I was so sweated out from my car. But I never let those situations stop me from anything. So much so that when I walked in to get this job, and then they told me I had to pay, and I was like, I have no money to pay, but I know I can do it. I got them to waive all the fees, and sure enough, I set my mind to it. And I'm saying you have to be that clear. I didn't look at how broke I was. I didn't feel sorry for myself. I didn't sit around and complain. I knew I had to take action. And so in that moment, and if you're looking at me and if you're mad at me, good, because I want you to be mad enough to say, you know what, I deserve better, because you do. And I want you to know it's real and you can do it because I did it and you can do it too. So in order to say, how do I help those that are struggling every day? You stop thinking you're one of those. You become a model for those around you. And when that TV starts blasting and those conspiracy theories start coming on and all those politics, which are the greatest illusion of all, are trying to control you, you have to decide who the master is. The only thing that you're struggling with right now is knowing how amazing you are. The minute you know, find your joy. What do you love? What do you love? What brings you joy and passion? And then start talking about it. Start following that dream. And you're going to be amazed at how fast it will turn around. So thank you for letting me share that with you, honey. Namaste.
I love this one. Anonymous asks, what is recommended for younger women to embrace these energies at this time?
First and foremost, thank you for being younger women. We're so grateful you're here. The first thing is find a wise woman mentor and make sure that wise woman mentor herself is healed. Whether it's someone you're finding some around, but find a wise woman mentor. And a wise woman mentor can appear in any age. Let go of linear experiences. As a younger woman, one of the things that I would strongly suggest to you is to not let anyone tell you there isn't anything you can't do. I was the only woman in a Texas good old boys club, and I was the only one. And there were many times when I was brought in to meet very, let's just say, important people. I was literally introduced as, we got us a skirt. And that's how I would be introduced. And yet I was more successful, made more money, and had more happening there because I didn't ever compromise who I was. I never slept with anyone. I never compromised outside of the integrity of who I am. Hold on to that and don't be afraid to be who you are. You are amazing. Young women, follow your dream, because women like myself and the amazing women that are sitting here with me right now, we've got you. We know what you're going through. We went through it ourselves and we're not shirking away. We're right here with you. So find the mentors that resonate with you. Stay committed to who you are. Don't give up on your dream. Manifest it. Manifest it. And stand strong and be a mentor for your children. Remember, the greatest gift we can give our children is our presence. It's not our words, it's our presence. Model what you want your children to be. Let them learn from you, and then all of us flourish. Did you want to add anything?
No, I love what you shared.
Oh, thank you. All right, we'll take two more, Jess.
Okay, well, perfect. That's what I've got here.
Perfect.
The container practice,
Uh-huh.
this is a sharing, plus the 3 times a day, I allow joyous simplicity in my life now.
Right on.
Declaration from last Monday Magic has
Yep.
carried me through so much this last week.
Oh,
thank you, thank you, thank you. You all and your wisdom are such a blessing in my life.
Thank you for
Love you
sharing.
all.
Thank you for sharing.
We celebrate you.
Yay.
And to follow up, can you clarify which version and which volume of the I Am discourses to find?
Okay, so this is volume 3. It's just called the I Am Discourses. And we have
It's
a
been
picture of
printed
it.
many times.
But it's been, right, but no, honey, there, it is volume 3, I Am Discourses, and that is at our website. If you go to shrinkira.com, it should be printed there. Yeah, thank you. All right. We did it.
Yay.
But we didn't do it alone. And it's just beginning.
Yeah.
And so in this moment, what we would like to do is really call into presence a way to close this ceremony and to close this weekend. And the way to do this is to first begin, I think, by sharing with all of the beautiful beings that have been here to make this possible. So any and all of you that want to get on stage are welcome to get on stage. And I'm going to stand down here because I think it's important that you guys see all of them. So all of you that would like to get on stage, you are welcome to get on stage. Don't all run at once. But please, you can stay up there, Sri, and maybe.
Yep.
There we are. Just go ahead up.
Come on in here.
Look at the camera. Everybody's welcome to be up. Who would like to go up? We're going to need to stand behind each other.
We might need 2 rows here.
We need 2 rows. There we
2
go.
rows.
All right, Joni's the end. Mimi, you've got to come over by Sri, get behind him there. And let's see, okay. Amara is the end of the frame. All of you are not seen.
Okay,
You have to come in. There we go.
Okay,
Right in front. There we go.
third row, third row.
Yeah, right in front. Right in front. There we go. You're not in the frame. Everybody who's outside of Elizabeth is not being seen. Masha, you're not seen. Zah, you're not seen. There we go. Okay, so Jess, why don't you come on out? All right. And how about smiles, everybody?
We love you.
We love you.
We are happy.
Hi. And
Hallelujah.
so see where I'm going to sneak in right now. Okay.
Go to mom.
I'm sneaking in. I'm coming right here. And so, hey, everybody, this is what it's about. It's about women. It's about wellness. It's about awakenings. And it is about the one heart that we are. Together, we are better.
Yeah.
We love you. Mwah.
And it's about men awakening their femininity. Then they can join the lovely women.
We love you. All right, everybody, say goodbye.
Bye.